What's up, everybody? This is the poker coaching study session. Today, we're going to be looking at
Heads up pot that have limps and ISOs. So I'll go first and we'll go from there. So we got an open limp with Jack 8 offsuit. This is not only a terrible limp, this is a terrible hand to limp. So everything's terrible about this. Who ISOs him? The big blind. Good for you. Big blind comes in for a queen jack dominating him. He calls, which is even worse than the initial limp. Goes to the flop. Queen jack can absolutely continue on this and get a fold. He could also choose a check range strategy out of position, in which case this wouldn't be a bad check raise. But let's see what he does. He just bets small, gets a call. This call is even worse than every other step in the hand. However, facing that now, I think he should now, queen jack should go into check call mode. He does check, bet, call, easy call. Here we go. Check, same thing, check. And he gives up. So badly played by Jack 8 in every sense of the word. Yay for Queen Jack. Larry,
All right.
you got this.
So this is an interesting hand because we've got two quality hands, the Villain 13 and Villain 12. I don't know who's going to limp. Show me who limps.
Yep, let's find out. The Jack Jack, which if you have a limping strategy from the small blind, sure, Jack Jack for a limp re-raise.
Yeah, agreed.
He limps.
So limp. If I were ISOing, I would ISO this hand. I would ISO to 4.5 or 5.
Yeah, good.
4. So let me see. So stack depth with jacks. I think jacks are fine for a limp re-raise.
Yeah.
I think I prefer a limp re-raise out of position.
Yep.
I think with
we can
jacks,
look.
what is it? Is it a 50% chance you get a card higher on flop, I think? Or is that queens? I don't remember.
Ace, king, queen. I don't know.
Okay. Limp call. I think I would prefer a limp raise. What about you guys? I'm not really sure that a limp raise is right with jacks, but I think
I would do the limp re-raise, but let's take a look because this is the one thing we can look at GTO, because GTO does have limps in the small blind, nowhere else. So we are not in an MTT, we're playing real poker. There we
got to
go.
get off that MTT stuff.
I know.
Right,
I don't know why I even let you guys see that. So here he goes. The small blind has some jacks checking mixes. That makes sense if you're going to have a limping strategy. Gets raised, comes onto the jacks.
Yeah.
Just always do it. Yeah.
So, and it's 4x. Okay, that's good to see.
That's good to see. We don't care that much because we're not going to limp the jacks. We don't have a limping strategy in the small blind. We've made that simplification, but he does this.
Okay. So jacks has a good check raise hand here. Obviously, I think you should check and flow. I think any size is fine here, anywhere from B25 to overbet.
Sure. Overbet?
Sure. Yeah, I think
Okay.
overbet with this combo.
Okay.
You could take, I mean, obviously, well, we'll have to see what the pot odds are, but you're usually going to have the pot odds to call to a check
Yeah.
raise. I think
Overbet
overbet's fine.
and then if he raises you, even if he jams, you just call. You have an overcard and
Yeah,
you're
I think probably.
yeah.
So this, I would check raise this size with this hand. So this hand, I would look at my overpairs here.
Mhm.
Well, I'm never supposed to have this overpair, number one, right? But
No, you three bet this.
but in this situation with an overpair, I think that it's kind of reverse linear. Your check raise frequency,
Yeah.
starting with jacks down to check raising the least with aces.
Mm-hmm.
So I would check raise this. I would check raise this to probably 10. Yeah, I think check raising is better.
Yeah.
So okay, he calls. Check and flow. So we've turned equity. I would polarize here. If I chose a small bet on flop, I would now overbet.
Okay,
I'm trying to
Overbet
get
to-
eights to fold, trying to get weak 10x to fold, I'm trying to get 9x to fold.
overbet to like 16 or like 26. What's your overbet size here?
They'd probably be 150,
About 18, 19.
so about
Okay,
18.
all right. He goes for the 66-ish,
So let's just talk about the sizing.
66, 60-ish.
I don't think this really accomplishes much.
Mhm.
You're not really getting anything to fold that called you on flop on this. It's kind of a bricky river. It's not for you, but
Yeah,
so I would have turned equity up. I hope I would have had the balls to go bigger, frankly.
right. And if you're trying to take the line of getting called by, of keeping the 9 and 10 in here to blast the river to try to get them to fold, that's harder to do in a small blind versus big blind scenario where everything is really wide.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, there is an argument to this sizing if you're planning to do on
Yeah.
a good river, planning to do something a little bit crazier. You're right.
Yeah, but even your bigger one still has enough because let's say you went to 18 here. So there's 36 plus the 13 in the pot, so it's 50. You've still got 70 left.
Yeah, you've got enough to
You've
make
got
it.
70, you've got, yeah, you got 75 left, which is enough to blast it. I'm just saying, I don't know if that line is the best small blind versus big blind there, where he's got lots of two pairs, but let's see what he does.
So
Oh,
this
this,
is interesting. So you've
he is,
earned equity, you've got
yeah,
a pair. So feeling 12 checked.
home told checks.
Um, you guys can tell me if you think this is nitty, but you're now beating the flush draws. So you're beating like 6, 8 of
Yeah,
hearts.
you're already beating flush draws though.
Right, you're beating every flush draw if it didn't have a deuce or a 5 in it.
Yeah, that's valid. That's a good
Yeah.
point. Didn't think about that. Um,
And you're still losing to the 8s, you're still losing to the 7s and 8s and 6s. And random 9 or 10. So this didn't save you.
yeah. Um, well, in that case, I think we've got a blast, right? Got to blast our way out. So maybe a pot.
Didn't. All right. For fun, we're going to do a version. We're going to run this in peak GTO because we can, even though we don't have Jack Jack here. We'll have a hand that's the equivalent to look at. So there's the raise. So call, raise, small blind called. No posted solve for this flop on the limp ones. Oh, well, we are not looking at this in peak GTO. Let's
Uh,
see what the
We can
wizard,
look at it in GTO Wizard, I think.
I know,
if you
that's what we're
want.
going to do. Call.
Okay.
Oh, so on. Fold. This is still an MTT. I apologize. What is this nonsense? Post flop included. Here we go. Small blind calls. There's our Jack Jack. Oh, this is so he raises the ace 3 suited. Perfectly fine. He goes to 4. We'll call it 5. Small blind with Jack Jack always 3 bets him. So that's going to muck up our Jack Jack analysis, but it won't muck up our ace 3 analysis. All right. So flop is 9 deuce 10. 9 of hearts, deuce of, I think it was diamonds, 10 of hearts. Yeah, okay. And the Jack Jack that we don't have checked, so its equivalent is, I guess, Jack 10-ish is sort of its equivalent. And so it can check. His ace 3 of hearts loves betting. And the
There's
size
a
that,
small size, didn't he?
yeah, he bets small, and it looks to me like that is the size that he does not do often, right? Yeah, so it went. Yeah, so on flop, he bet very small, and although that won't break the solve, uh, the solver wanted bigger.
Mhm.
All right, when you take that line,
Let's look at what, can
no
you,
check raise, not the check raise that we expected from our equivalent hand.
yeah. Well, this is a little different because it's, the overpairs are unblocking top pair.
Yeah, yep, that's true. Yeah, he can have it more. Okay. I mean, this hand, we're now looking at, we're not looking at the hand anymore that we played. Okay, this was a 5 that comes in. It's the 5 of, it's the offsuit 5, right? Yep, offsuit 5. Check range. And now how big does he go with the ace 3? What?
Yeah, we just don't take that line. We take low freq, we only
Okay.
use the B33 1% of the time.
Right,
You
okay,
still
so
have
we
it,
got,
but you just don't really have it that much.
all right, so this may be, so this may be nonsense here.
Yeah, he's barreling big.
He's barreling, but his sizes are, I always have a problem with the colors. So
75 and you can
50
look
and
at the,
75, but not the overbet.
yeah, you can look at the lower right and,
Yeah, I see it now.
yeah. So B75, so actually his size.
Yeah. B75. The river is the 3 of not anything.
Small blind calls.
Right, small blind calls. And we get the 3 of spades. Facing the check here. Small blind checks. Now let's see our big blind node. Ace 3. Yeah, he's given up. So he's just decided not to continue this bluff.
I will say, guys, that we are now beating ace jack off or ace 7 off, so that might be the reason, or ace 7 suited.
Go to breakdown and see where the threshold is for.
So
So
value is top pair. Any top pair is value. There. Weird middle bluffs are these, and the low equity bluffs are queen and jack highs trying to get the ace to fold.
Yeah, look at that. Look at the ace high bets, the top range of the ace high bets.
Mean here, this ace deuce, this is a
Uh,
pair.
that's pair, but go to
Ace-
the next row. There you go. So
Ace king.
ace king's down to what?
22% equity.
Yeah,
So it definitely falls in our bluffing region.
it's a bluffing region, but it occasionally gets called by better,
By worse.
by worse. Okay, I'm sorry, say occasionally gets called by worse, by ace queen.
Yeah, but I think,
Hmm.
I think it's gotta be a bluff if that
It is
perceived
a bluff.
equity.
No, it's a bluff. You're trying, you don't want to get, when you see a call, you expect to lose. Just every so often.
But I think holding ace king maybe means like having king have the king is going to block some of their top pairs or something that.
Or maybe you do, we may find, we may find an ace 8 somewhere down here. Like there's the ace queen doing it as a bluff. It's just a lower equity bluff because you can beat an ace, technically you have some more to beat. So there's some more bluffs with aces. There's more ace king bluffing. I mean, even king queen bluffs, king jack. They're just count as quote lower equity. They just fall up here, but they're the functional equivalent of these. Yeah. I mean, king 7 does very little blocking. It just wants to win the hand. And the bet size is, I can't tell the color ever. We bet it 100% of the time, but I don't see can you guys tell what size this is? I can't tell in the breakdown.
It's,
I'll just do
I
this.
think it was a shove it, Lapine.
Right, I'll just go back to strategy and I'll just go to the king seven. On the river, who did it? There he
There you
is. He does it. He goes all in.
go.
He want, these are, I want to win the hand bluffs. Okay,
Alright, cool.
Mike. I give you this.
Okay. Well, let's see who limps.
That
Okay,
guy.
so the ace four limps.
Right.
And then king queen should ISO.
He does.
What do you do? And I guess he's gonna call.
Yep.
This is
Don't like
terrible.
it.
So we'll play as king queen.
Yeah, always.
All right. Assume he checks.
No,
Did he donk half pot?
he donked.
Okay. Well, with our specific hand and everything, I mean, even following Nuffle, this is just a call every time.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, this is an easy call.
All right, let's see what he does. Okay, well, this is a B75, and oof. I mean, I think we can pretty much just fold here. I think to smaller sizes, we can actually continue, maybe even raise, but I think to the back-to-back donks and their big sizes, we just let it go.
I agree.
And I'm pretty sure like Nuffle falls in between there. Like if you're following Nuffle strategy, a half pot bet, we're raising.
Okay,
Pot size bet, we're folding. And
right.
there is no sort of in between a suggestion of what to do.
Yeah.
So maybe you just sort of maybe overfold or
Yeah, I like to fold here. Okay. All right, Paul, I give you this. And the limp comes from a 9-6 offsuit.
What's up? Good morning, guys. All right. See here. We have. Right, so my apologies. Whoa, which hand am I playing right now?
You're deciding what, so you start with your hero with an ace deuce suited, you're in the cutoff and you get limped to by someone who's obviously done a lot of limping in this session. Because if you're limping 9-6 offsuit, you're limping a lot.
Mm-hmm.
We also have a stat on him that he's limping a lot. He's his VPIP is 60 and he limps 58% of those. He's not doing much open raising. So
For sure. Okay, sweet.
you want to ISO him with ace deuce suited? You want to call behind to try to, generate, because you're allowed to call behind with a small suited ace, or do you want to just or do you want to fold? What do you want to do?
For sure. I know live, usually this will be one. I'll limp along, try to see a cheap flop with my suited ace.
All right, let's see if that's what I do. I don't. I choose to go for the ISO.
That's probably fine too, five-handed. Yeah.
Right.
ISO's
And I'm
good.
thinking, here's what I'm thinking. I think that limping along with the suited ace is a good idea when this guy's when this guy's limping range is in any way protected. But if this guy's a V60 with this kind of limping, I mean, basically, if 9-6 offsuit is included in his, then ISOing ace deuce is just great, I think. I mean, this isn't great, but
Sweet. Yeah, definitely. Okay. Cool. All right. So we kick it up there and then, okay. So I'm only looking at it from ace deuce, right?
well, we'll see. Now, yeah, you're going to be ace deuce because you're going to be me.
Yeah.
Your life is terrible. 6-6 surprising fold after that limp. He's out of position. Good fold. Okay. And now we go to the flop with this. Your ace deuce.
Out of position, I'll check. Gross. We're just gonna give up.
Yep. All right.
Now, real quick, Scotty.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off there. Just harkening back to last week, just so we're building on stuff. on this flop, if it's not two-tone, based off of last week, we have a lead there, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was
we
gonna
can, we
say we
can,
could,
we're not leading, we're c betting.
Oh, excuse me,
Yeah,
right,
because
yeah,
we were the raiser.
but if it, yeah, if
Yeah.
it's king high board, not two-tone, we would have led there, not lead, we would have C bet,
We
correct?
can c bet there. We're not c betting range though. You never c bet range out of position. There is no board
mm,
where,
no, that's not true.
okay, that's not true. There are few boards. So what would it be like? King high?
Yeah, well,
Now,
the
it's not
king high
two-tone.
boards were always very frequently C bet.
Okay. So this one might be it.
Yeah, this one is pretty good.
Yeah. So you could look at this hand, if you wanted to think about this hand from Hero's point of view, once villain 15 folds, this hand is very similar to a raise call hand, which you could happen calling on the big blind on the button, where the
Hmm.
button has a slightly stronger range than normal. That would be a good way to look at this configuration because he had to call 4.5 instead of 3 or 2.5.
Right,
Right. And he's probably he would have a lot of suited aces in his range. Oh, I'll let you guys talk while I answer this.
yeah, you're good, yeah. Essentially, well, Mike, is this, my understanding was this would, we could do a continuation bet on the king high board, but not when it's two-tone. So, Mike, you're saying this could still be bettable even with the two diamonds?
Yeah, and being rainbow, it's nice too. But the king high boards typically we've seen to be a much higher frequency C bet type of board, almost irregardless of the other two cards.
Agreed. Agreed, yeah.
So they're just always very favorable. It's one of these kind of heuristics we've discovered. King high, absolutely, almost always a good. To Scotty's point, it's not a bet, C bet your range. However, like those are kind of rare, but we see them occasionally.
Okay, sweet, sick. Yeah, sorry, Scott, I may have got sidetracked a bit, but I saw an opportunity to be like, oh, okay, we can reference last week to this week. Thought I'd bring it up, but yeah, sweet. Let's see. What is Scotty just putting that hand in wizard or something, or?
All right, this one's gonna go
Did
to
we lose? Did we
this one's
lose
gonna go
Scotty?
to, I'm
Nice.
on the phone. This one's gonna go to Larry. So I'll click for you, Larry.
Okay, so
I'll
I
try to get control
anticipate
of the
we're
question.
going to get a limp from, I have no idea. Maybe villain 15? Who knows? Okay, so here I should ISO to, I use 5 bigs now, 4.5 spine. Villain 16, obvious fold. Villain 17, it's got kind of an interesting hand here. I think a suited connector, I would flat behind multi-way. I think folding is fine. But like a low suited connector where villain 17 was, I think is good multi-way, right? Because you can make the nuts. Sometimes, of course, in this case, you would have been dominated, but yeah. Anyway, so this is a horrible call from villain. This is why we ISO. ISO and play the fish. Let's see our flop. So 3-8 queen, we miss. Poor play is rewarded. Let's see what villain 15 does. Does he check? He checks. So I would see bet here. I think this size is fine. I would use a bigger size just because that's what Jeremiah Williams told me to do. So I don't really think villain 15 has good enough hand to check raise. I would just call. Oh, it's villain 15. It puts in this stupid check raise. So this is interesting. Let's look at these pot odds, right?
Okay.
Pot odds are important here because I've been facing a lot of these kind of 2x check raises live. And I've not been thinking about them clearly enough, frankly. And so if you look at the pot odds here, even when we just have an over and a back door, we're getting the odds to call this, and we're playing in position. So we're supposed to call in this situation. It's really important to think about pot odds here.
Right. Now, the one misleading thing about the pot odds here is our 15% equity is 15% to the river, and there's no guarantee that if we get a diamond, we get to see the river. There's no guarantee that if we get a jack, we get to see the king that comes on the river that's included in this 15%. You know what
That's
I mean?
valid. Do you think we can overfold here?
I think given how deep we are, our implied odds are such that we don't need to fold here.
Yeah. So, I've been struggling with this. My default is to fold to a check raise like this.
Yeah.
Which I think, has been hurting me live. I think it's an overfold.
Yeah.
And I need to look at it more, which is
So-
one of the nice things about coming to this and seeing kind of a repeat.
Yep.
So I think, I think your fold is fine. But I think we do have to think about pot odds here.
Yeah, and the implied pot odds is what's really in there.
Yeah, I mean, so let's just break this down why this is a call here. So I think this is a call with a backdoor and an over.
Yeah.
Now,
our
if you had
backdoor-
king five of spades,
Fold.
yeah. But when you have this much equity, I think you get to call.
Yeah,
So
And
I,
it's-
go ahead, sorry.
I think it's really important that our equity is also to the king of diamonds, not to the 10 of diamonds.
Yeah, that's important too. Well, let me give you guys can I give you guys a quick example? It's only three of us. Can I? Only,
Yeah.
wait, it's only the regulars, so I don't mind. So, last night game was loose, so I opened up my RFI range a little bit. I was like in low jack.
Mm-hmm.
I opened to $6, 3 big blinds with 10-9 suited.
Mhm.
A new player, a good player, flats in hijack. Folds around, heads up. Flop comes 8 of clubs. 7 of spades. I have 10-9 of spades.
Mhm.
No, it doesn't. That would be an open ender. It was like 5 of spades, 2 of hearts. I could check there, of course, but I choose to C bet. He 2x's my C bet of a B50. Do you think I should fold or call in that situation out of position? 10-9 of spades. We've got 2 overs. We're connected to the 8, and then we have this 5 of spades, and then a brick.
And did he click you back or did he when you say 2x?
2x.
2x, right, 2x meaning quick bet, you bet 3, he bet 6, not you bet 3, he bet 9. I'm just
Yeah,
understanding.
yeah. So the pot was 15. I bet 7, and he
Yeah,
went
so
to
he min raised you.
Yeah,
He
he went to
min-raised.
14.
You can call that.
Yeah, I think I should have called. I think it's an overfold. I really have to go back and look at these.
Now this situation is a little different because I'm in position. You're out of position there, which makes it much harder,
Yeah, agreed.
but you got a lot of cards. You have a lot of cards you can play on with.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go. Yeah, because he also can be doing that. He can be doing that for a free card.
He also can be doing it to because he knows it missed my range.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to take the next one because I skipped that one and then we'll go to Mike. All right, here we go. So the limp comes from the small blind. So this is a different situation. Small blind, and I decide to ISO with 8-7 on the idea of this is one of your bad hands that you do it with. And this is, I haven't looked at this on a chart, but I'm pretty confident that this exists. Let's look real quick. We'll do this in poker coaching. Peak GTO. We get a call from the small blind and the big blind 8-7 off. Come on, be there, baby.
You're close. You're close, man. You're
I'm
close.
close.
9-8 off is there.
It's, yeah.
Same difference.
Things related to it are there, but it's not. Okay.
It's fine.
It's fine, but it is not. I did not learn this range recently. I actually know this range, by the way. I just didn't bother to know it then. I did learn this range. And in the version that I learned of this range, 8-7, it does it a quarter of the time. This is the version that I learned. Let's see if I'm right about that quarter, if I actually learned what I thought I learned. Okay, so we're here, small blind check. Oh, go back to,
You have to hit the
yes,
reset,
hit,
yeah.
hit,
there you
hit
go.
that world. All right, here we go. I learned it. I'm gonna do what I really learned, which is 9 max. There's the limp. And there's the 8-7 off, and there it is. About
Yeah.
a quarter of the time. Good. So I'm totally comfortable having done this. This is fine. He calls, which he should. I have a gut shot. I has a diamond. I's gonna bet. All right, it's on Mike.
Yeah.
I regret nothing.
All right, let's see who limps, because I'm guessing it's A7, short stack.
Yep.
All right, then so we're gonna ISO King 5 suited. Okay. I'm on board with it. I would probably check King 5 suited behind
I
myself,
think it's
but
good. I think it's a good check.
yeah, I think it's a good ISO too. I think it's
Yeah.
either or.
Yeah, and we don't have any data on this guy, whether he's serial or not. But this time I did it.
Yeah. Alrighty. Okay. Well, I think I am going to c-bet this flop small almost all the time after I've ISO'd.
Like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Knowing we're going to get called a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Now the ace is kind of a funny one. I don't think I necessarily care for continuing now. I mean, I know I'm seeing the cards, but I think the ace in particular is in like, has the characteristics of people overcalling with their ace high stuff that they limped. So I don't think I would continue at this point. I
Okay.
would just try to take some, realize what equity I might have, and hopefully they don't over bluff.
Right. So, I accept that, but let me say other words to you. I bluffed the flop. I picked up equity on the turn. I did pick up equity.
Yeah, you got a gut shot now.
Yeah. Although in a sense I lost equity because before my king was good and now when my king comes, I lose, it's not very good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But let's see. I picked up equity.
Okay. Yeah. Now I think I mean, everything he has called with so far is beating you. Like even all of everything that might have had some fold equity prior has gotten there.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
just have to give up.
Yeah. What am I trying to do? What am I trying to do with this if I bet this? Check, check. There we go. All right. What a nightmare. Let me show one thing real quick before the next hand. The next hand is going to be mine again. And that is, this is the limp range we expect them to show up with. So this is the actual data of the limped ranges from Ignition that I've played against. So you can see there's a very specific sort of small R shape right here that's dark.
Yeah, very heavy in the offsuit broadways and offsuit aces.
Yeah. It's there. It's the low pairs and the low suited aces. Those are your things. And they get more in the small blind, it's not as clear, but you look on the button, then when you go to the cutoff, they all have the same characteristics and they get more and more extreme to where when you go to the early position, you really see it. That, that, that's what we're seeing the most of.
Yeah.
Some suited connectors are in there. They're robustly seen, that region. So those are the regions we expect. And that hand went like that. Next hand. My God, who limps? 7-3 limps? So I'm gonna ISO him. If you're limping 7-3 and I've got 86 hands on you, this means that I think your range is dog shit. Because you don't limp 7-3 without getting numbers like this.
True.
Go. So there's the ISO. See it? It's a dream. Check. I can bet my ace high. I can bet it small. Oh, okay. So this is saying that this misses him completely. And I'm actually gonna do one check, and then this happens. He bets. Now it's an easy call. There's no reason to raise. Now it's a 10. He bets. It's an easy call. There's no reason to raise.
Yeah, thank you for making it nice and small, sir.
Yeah, exactly. I was
Like if
calling.
he goes, if he blasts that there, I don't think I'd necessarily be too happy about calling with ace nine.
I'm not too happy, but I'm gonna do it. I didn't check. Here's what I mean. I didn't check this. I didn't check this flop to induce to not play against an induce. I hate that how deep he could make it. I mean, he could make it big enough to make me fold, but I'm not folding. I'm not going to fold to 30. I'm going to call 30.
Oh, you'd call a pot size bet there?
I'm calling pot size there. Yeah.
Yeah.
He has jacks in his range. I agree. He has queen, king, queen in his range. I agree. They're in there. But again, I didn't do that. I didn't do this to fold. If I was planning on folding it all, I would be betting there.
Yeah.
All right. So that happened for 38. Larry, you're up.
All right, so, I don't really see what's gonna happen here. That's gonna happen. Hero, this is really early. I don't think this is a good over limp. Just, yeah, muck. So I think queen two is going to leverage being on the button. I would have gone a little bit bigger.
And he's noticed the same thing.
Yeah.
This is probably the same guy.
Yeah.
A little later.
And then, okay, so this is a really good flop for our ISOing range. I would be 50 here.
And this
Um,
also, we should not think that this misses his range. Remember, we saw that king jack there.
yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, and he's EP. Lot of king jack.
Yeah.
A lot of that range right there. Okay.
So he bet small, that's fine. We're gonna call. Um, this is interesting. Hold on, why does? Oh, so villain 23 has 27% equity, not 18, because he's got an over. Yeah. But that shouldn't, because it's two pair.
He's
Okay,
got a
20.
straight. He's got a straight
Oh, he's
draw.
got the straight draw too. That's
got a
it.
straight
That's
draw
all. I
also.
knew I was missing something. Thank you. Um, so he checked, right? So, I mean, when you turn this much equity, I would polarize to like pot.
He goes for the usual polarize of 75%, the one that actually 60 something percent, 65% something like that. Is
So
what he gets.
Jack John's an interesting point. I mean, so obviously Queen 10 is within his range. I don't think he's gonna be good enough to check raise, but this is certainly a check raise candidate.
Yeah, yeah, two pair. He does.
So this size is important, right? Again, this click back 19% pot odds. I'm really enjoying seeing these pot odds. It's teaching me something.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're clearly just calling. There's no
Right.
reason to do anything else but call here.
And here's where your pot odds are completely correct.
Because it's on
There's one
turn.
card to
Yeah.
come. You're guaranteed to see it if you call. You have 27% to make your hand. Plus, there's also the implied odds when your hand comes in with the 10. When the club comes in, is a little down, but you still might get some money. Yeah. So this would be a huge mistake to fold. Huge.
Okay, so he misses.
Yep.
So Jack nine now. Jack nine, I think I would make a B75 to pot, fold into a shove.
And you're trying to get called by ace king.
Trying to get king X to call, you know. But you have a good, okay, so this is really bad. But you made a good point here. It makes sense to think about maybe what your target region is. So check.
He checks. I hope he's checking to induce.
And so he gets what he wants. Now, yeah, he should dull this. Yeah, he's playing like a fish. He's just afraid of things. This is monster under the bed syndrome, right? He now is Villain 15 is now hyper focused on Queen 10.
Mm-hmm.
He's hyper focused on arguably 4 combos at ISO. Maybe he's also focused on King Jack or something, or King 9.
Yeah.
But this is monsters under the bed syndrome, which I can be susceptible to sometimes, especially playing live. And
So
it's
when
a
you talk
problem.
about monsters under the bench syndrome, you don't mean that his check to induce. You're saying the fact that he doesn't check raise here.
Yeah. I think I think he's got 40 behind and you put him in.
Yeah, he's got 40
I think-
behind.
I mean, do you guys, what do you guys think? Am I off base? This is a check shove on turn. I'm sorry, on river.
Mm,
Live, I would consider check calling this.
yeah, I feel like that the check shove would be pretty thin. Is it too thin though? Like, is it just thin enough to be good? Or is it too thin where you're just never going to get called unless they have better 2 pair or better?
You might have a good point. I might be influenced by the cards. It's good to hear your guys' perspective. Yeah, you might be right. I mean, maybe this is just check call because the valuation that calls you off is just not big enough.
I think ace king doesn't fold here.
So if you include all the combos of king queen and ace queen that can call, which is like what, 16
king, queen,
plus 16?
Yeah, all the
Well, not including card removal.
Yeah.
So then all of a sudden you are kind of feeling like you should check shove. Maybe this is really close.
So 12 ace kings call. 12 king queen offsuits call half the time to your shove and the other half fold.
Mhm.
Um,
And then you got to do
That's-
combinatoric experiment about what beats you.
right. So we have 18 calls there. The king jacks of the world. Let's see. Does king jack ever play this way? Check, bet, call. Check,
Sure.
bet, raise. King jack, call. Sure. Check, bet. Yeah, king jack does this.
Yeah, King
And it
Jack,
doesn't.
King 5, King 9, and King 7.
Uh,
All of
king
those.
king 5 and king 9, king 5 and king 7 are hard for him to have because
Yeah,
of
but
the
you,
preflop
you're
action.
sitting here with Queen Deuce. Why wouldn't they have all those suited combos of
Because
King
it's hard to
5?
have because it's hard to have queen deuce here. He has it, but it's hard to have. Do you raise queen deuce there?
No, I don't know. But
Oh,
I
you don't?
certainly would raise King 9 and King 5 and King 7 suited.
Yeah, suited. Okay. So let's do, so the suited combos, there's 2 king 5s, 2 king 9s, 2 king 7s. So that's 6 of those. There's king king. No, you're not just calling king king here. Are you? Are you not re-raising king king are you that afraid of queen 10? I guess king king, if you have the king of clubs, you can call, and if you don't have the king of clubs, you raise, maybe something like that. Who knows? So give him a little bit of king king. No jack, the one pair of jack jack. And the queen 10. So I don't think it's a slam dunk jam. I think it's a good jam. I think there's more that can call you that you beat than beats you. What do you think? Or did we get disconnected?
I hear
Um,
you.
Or we
so
didn't get,
repeat, you think there's more that there's more values that we beat than what beats us?
I think so.
So we do think that, so I had to go, so I didn't hear your combinatorics, but,
So I got 18 that we beat.
mhm,
Okay, and now the things that beat us that play this way. King plays this way.
yeah,
That's 6 kings.
yeah.
Jack plays this way. That's 1 jack. That's 7. King 5, king jack, king 9 suited play this
Mhm.
way. That's 6 of those. So we're up to 11. And then king jack offsuit.
Gotcha.
And queen 10.
Sorry, and one less. I counted one too many king jacks. I counted king jack suited of diamonds. So
Did you already include queen 10 and
no, I didn't. No, okay, so queen 10 is
pocket
there.
fives?
It's a bad check raise. You
Okay,
Pocket fives,
I
pocket
think,
nines.
okay. You guys have convinced me successfully.
bad check raise.
Hey, Art, how you doing?
Because we also do have because he also has king jack offsuit.
Yeah, yeah, I
King
think,
9 suited,
okay,
king 7, king 5 suited. Yep, okay.
okay, I think the inducing check call is right.
All right, great. Mike,
Okay. Excuse me. All right, there's our limp. Oh, geez, where's the ISO coming from? Scotty getting spicy with the king 7?
No.
There
No,
it
the
is.
ISO comes from 6-4 off. Oh my goodness.
oh, let
That's
the,
clearly a little wide. A little wide. Oh, we get an overcall from 4 deuce. Holy smokes. Okay. Well, this is going to be a fun little hand, huh?
yeah,
So we've ISO'd. We're looking at an ISO of 6-4, so we know the range is going to be wide, but let's just kind of figure we don't know that he's that wide. This would be a good flop to see bet. I mean, if you get overcalled in the big blind, 2 broadways, I mean, you could just probably see bet your range here. I mean,
sure.
assuming they don't think you're doing this with 6-4.
They don't, but look at your stats. They do know that about your stats. You're a V of 83. You're in every hand. You're in
Yeah,
every hand.
if, I suppose if they're paying attention, you're right. That would be pretty crazy. I mean, I would see bet pretty much range. When I ISO and get a board like this and I'm in position and get checked to, I'll just see bet small. They go big.
Yeah.
Probably not a terrible bet either, like over betting in position to a check like that. Probably
Mm.
not bad.
Yeah. Seems unnecessary to
Yeah,
bet that big.
yeah, not necessary.
Yeah, but it works. All right. And Arturas,
Yeah.
here's your hand. I will give you one hint of what happens. It
Mm-hmm.
starts with a limp on the button.
I stand ISO because we don't want big blind in.
Good. What size?
5, 6, 5.
I like it.
Call.
If you have to limp that, you should be calling it.
Interesting board. This hand. So basically, we play heavy checks here, and this hand 10 is kind of good. I don't know, bro. I'll give up. Maybe check on the side then.
Okay. He goes small. Don't hate it.
Yeah. Call or raise. Mostly raise, but whatever.
I'm gonna say mostly call. We do a lot of check raising with top pair. We don't do a lot of call. We don't do a lot of raising.
Yeah,
in
but the guy is saying he's range betting, so
we can. He goes for it.
yeah, I like it. Aston guy messed up. I will give up.
I think he's got to give up here. Okay. He doesn't want to give up.
Okay. Check. We keep milking over cards. Probably block and not be afraid of raises. So 8 to 12.
He bets
I don't
huge.
like big bet.
I also don't mind after the raise, after getting my raise called here. I think that this guy's got, can have a lot of pocket tens, pocket jacks, pocket queens. And I don't like to be in the business of trying to get those things to fold.
Is it an L50?
This is NL 100, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so.
Tell you
Like,
what
why
it is.
would you block pocket tens on the flop?
This is 50
Yeah,
set, yeah,
NL
this is
100.
NL 100.
Maybe like you have to add a broken strategy.
So what I meant was this, let's say that let's say you got pocket tens here in ace tens position.
Okay.
Would ISO, right?
Yeah.
You would happily bet this. And when you
No.
got raised, are you gonna go, come on, let's three bet the tens? No, because this guy can have,
I don't bet small tens. That's not good, I would say.
okay, so you would bet big here.
Yeah.
So I could absolutely, if I have tens here, I can bet small. I can make this size. And when raised, I'm not gonna three bet him there.
Bet
So-
small with kings, not tens.
Okay, so, okay, give me kings. I can have kings here and do the same thing. If I do,
But
and I'm in the jack nines position here, I don't love this seven so much. I didn't raise a ton of sevens. I mean, granted, 262 doesn't have a lot of sevens, but he's still got overpairs. And so I think I want to check and take my equity if I'm him. And you want to bet small, and that's okay too. And
just like 80% of the time or something, like 90, small blind will just have ace high or something.
all right, next one is me. The 8-9 is going to be the limp, and it's the best. This is the best limp we've seen so far. Other than the small blind limp, which is okay. Who is going to three bet him? The deuces goes for it. And he absolutely should call this. Deuces does it a little bit bigger, maybe because this is his sizing, or maybe because he's scared. This might be a sizing tell for this guy. He calls, I like it. Check range. Check range. No, not check range. Should work. So if you're gonna do this, do we prefer to check raise with this over donking it? It's not a donk board. So I guess we prefer to check raise over that. All right. Larry,
Alright, so, we've got, this doesn't quite qualify tricky limper, but it gets close. I'm not comfortable ISOing any of these hands.
nope,
Um,
nope, does it? I have an opinion.
I think the ace three off does.
Jack seven does it.
Oh, yeah, you're looking at his VPIP.
Looking at his
There it
VPIP.
is.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna talk about how, I mean, this is kind of a, now.
Yep,
Just-
that's not a strategy. We may see people, we're not gonna play this strategy, but we're gonna play against people who have this strategy. And we're
Yeah,
gonna
it's a good strategy to see. Yeah, I agree. That's why we look at these hands to see how the population plays. Can we go
And of
back 1 second?
Of course it gets rewarded. Of course it gets rewarded.
Now, if I were going 280, this come pretty close to limp re-raise ISO. Definitely ace five suited becomes a tricky limp, make it look like aces kind of hand, but his call here, of course, whatever.
And against these stats,
Yeah,
ace suited would be fine to do
if he
that.
was using a HUD, it might become interesting to do that. So, okay, he calls. Okay, so poor play rewarded, check. Sure, who knows? That sounds good. So ace six has got a very interesting hand here.
Does.
He's not getting pot odds, as we can see. Although at this size to this, I think this is an important lesson. This is just a pot odds versus equity lesson. This hand just doesn't have, it kind of, I think, is deceptively low equity against middle pair here.
Mm-hmm.
You can argue about implied odds, but I think we just fold.
I agree. And here's my thought process on it. I don't know if it's good or bad, which is we have got three things going for us. We have got backdoor flush, backdoor ignorant end straight, overcard, right? Those are the
Mhm.
three things. So to a small bet, we should not be folding three things.
Agreed.
We all, and we can do some check raising with three things. To a big bet, we just fold.
Yeah, I think that really is ABC poker and it's the fundamentals. Now, it might get different. Now, I think if he had ace nine suited, with the spade, gets a little bit different. But when you're also drawing to the ass end of the straight, yeah, I think this is a fold.
Yep, it's four, yeah. Ace nine suited is four things, two overcards,
Yeah.
and your straight draw is to the good end, not to the ignorant end. All
Yeah,
kinds
I
of,
think we call with ace nine suited, but this goes.
but I'm not sure if we call with ace nine suited to this size.
We should
They're all
do,
backdoor
let me
things.
just, should we put it in, I'll put it on the side. Maybe I'll put it in, an equity calculator.
Yeah, okay, that'd be good. Yeah, and we can't, and again, we can't solve it because of the limp.
Yeah, we could just do like an old school equity calculator right here.
Okay. Mike,
Yeah. All right, show me the limper. Okay. Uh, well, yeah, I would not ISO any of these hands myself.
yeah, I would take a flop with with deuce three.
So who's the ISO? Okay, so we got that guy.
Right. And again, and
And-
and he's ISOing less his hand and more this guy's VPIP.
I mean, yeah, who knows? Probably. Who knows
Or
what
the- Yeah.
what is happening?
Yep, okay. So we fold, of course. Bad play again, rewarded.
Yeah. Did you filter for
Bad play rewarded.
yeah. So I mean, he's got 24 big blinds left here and
Yeah.
in 4-4 flop. If I had ISO'd queen nine, I would see bet.
He can't, 4-8 can't have nice things.
He's run good much.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even want to speculate. Like, I just don't want to get into the minds of, like
Okay.
what we should do here. It's not worth spending the time on it, I don't think.
Right, but we are
No.
villain 285.
But queen nine, so it got checked to us and we did not see bet. Again, I don't know. I would maybe start betting now, but I mean, the short stack over there is just like, I just would never be in this situation. I don't know why we shouldn't even spend time on it.
Okay,
I
you
don't
got
know if I
queen nine
would
of
bet or
spades.
not.
Let me give you queen nine of spades. You could have done that.
Okay, queen nine. Well, I would have see bet the flop.
Okay, then there you go. All right, then he bets here. I think his betting here is fine.
Yeah, I agree. I
He has
think
a
it's
good
fine.
shot. It's a little small to get a king deuce to fold, but so that's the weird thing about this sizing here. This sizing gets
You're
all the
still going to
hands
get
he's
called by
already
a lot
beat.
of like draws and things that.
And he can't have, he can't get the miracle jack that the 4-8 needs.
I think if you have full stacks, I think your bet on the turn, assuming if you checked on the flop, wants to be pretty polarizing.
Yeah.
So betting small there, I don't think makes a whole lot of sense because you're not getting folds from potentially better hands that are, just draws.
Yeah, I mean, king deuce might fold here to this, but yeah, there's the check. Is he going to try to win with a king that's good for his range? He does. All right.
Yeah, he's
Small
going to
trap.
get shipped. He's going to get shipped on.
Yeah, not even shipped, just small. And of course, all right.
I put the
Arturas.
equity calculation in the,
Yeah.
in the chat and we are, because the equity we were being offered, was 30%, essentially
Mhm.
close to pot, and we have it. And I
Yeah.
would say our implied odds even out of position are there because our draws are nutted draws.
Mhm. Right, so this is if we had the ace nine instead of the ace six.
Yes, exactly.
Gotcha. All right.
So
Great.
we're
And that's
there
versus
with the ace nine.
specifically versus that hand, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but we could say it almost with any middle pair.
I was thinking more like range. Like range would include other hands too, like
Yeah, you're totally right.
sets and stuff. But
Yeah. You're totally
Yeah,
right.
but the jack, I mean, but let's face it, the jack seven is not in range here.
Yeah,
Of-
exactly.
I mean, this was a limp, he wasn't even the limper. We're not giving him any jack sevens.
Yeah,
So,
gotcha.
but I have no more words to say about that. That's my butt. Okay. And we are on to the lovely, this hand, and this is Arcturus's hand.
Mhm.
And the limper is the ace 10.
Jack nine ISO.
Seems likely. It looks like me. It's a bit ambitious.
I like it.
But it's still big.
Oh, it's a short stack though. That always deters me.
Yeah.
Check back mostly.
Ah,
Okay,
oh
dogs,
no, he
we
bets it.
call.
He bets it.
Yeah, I think we have to call.
Yep,
At least one.
absolutely. Perfect.
Check back.
Sure, why not? Only because of that.
Yeah.
And then he bets half pot.
I am. I would fold just because of range I get wherever.
Mm.
Like I already fold like under cards. Oh, under pairs to a jack on the
Yeah.
flop.
Gotcha. I'm positive I called this. I just know me.
Getting 3 to 1, 25% of the time you have, only 25% of the time do you have to be good.
Yeah. And this isn't one of those 25.
You're gonna lose
I lose.
a lot of the time, but what's
Yep. You can lose most of the
I
time.
don't.
You'll profit from that call.
So you think, Mike? You think you will show profit there?
well, I do. I just think that they're to that size bet when you're only got to be good a quarter of the time. I'm thinking you're good, if you're good 33% of the time, it's a profitable call.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're good 30% of the time, it's profitable, but I'm thinking you might even be good close to 40% of the time here.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, let's see. So what hands is he doing this with? He bets here. He could be doing it with he could be doing it with a jack. He could be doing it with 9-10. I don't think he's doing it with 8-10. But yeah, you can do it with a jack and
They merge all kinds of crap when they do
yeah.
this.
Yep. Yeah. I don't know what they are.
You could have tens, you could have nines, just weird stuff.
Yeah. Hard for him to have tens as played. Limp 10.
No, I know.
Oh, yeah.
It's just
But
like
yeah, we don't know. We just don't know.
kind of part of their range, right? It's just
Yeah.
part of this sort of weird stuff. And again, like you're going to lose a lot. You're going to
Yeah.
lose, like I said, I predicted probably, you're going to lose 70% of the time.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. The limp comes from the king 8. The ISO should come from the ace queen suited, of course. Any ISOs to the bigger size, I like it. 5.5 at minimum there for me. 5.5, 6.5. I think 5 is too small, but it's not terrible. But 4 is too small. Is that true? Yes, 4 is too small. All right. And gets called. And bad play does not get rewarded. Sure. Go ahead, bet. He bets big. Wow. So once you get called, having bet big, let's continue betting big.
Yeah, you're at the
You've got a
top of.
pot size bet left.
Yeah, let's just
Put it
jam.
in.
Let's just jam. Yeah, I like it. Well played, ace queen. That's what I think. All right, Larry.
All right. Okay, so king queen is early, but I think you do have to ISO here.
Yeah.
I'm very uncomfortable ISOing this combo, but well, that does mean I'm not going to use a smaller size. I'm still going to use a 4.5
Right.
because I am now by taking kind of the smaller sizing, I am inducing flats, and that's what I don't want. So I think I would go to 5 bigs here.
Yep. And this guy is in, the ace seven is in the tricky limping position, the most common position to limp the aces from.
Yeah, true.
Uh, we don't block aces, and we have a million hands behind us that could wake up with something that can three
Well,
bet a king.
Yeah,
queen.
I agree. I don't think we can fold it. I don't
Yeah.
think we can overlimp. I think we gotta ISO it.
I agree.
Yeah, but you're
But-
right. You're totally right. You need to think about where the tricky limpers are.
Yeah.
Now,
So
I don't, I'm trying to deprogram monsters under the bed, but you definitely have to think about it.
tricky limper is not my monsters under the bed when you look at, once you look at his strat as his stats, what you've seen, how you've seen the guy play.
Yeah, that's
If
valid.
limping, is he a guy who limps his whole range? We see those guys out there.
Mhm.
A guy who's playing normal all through the game, and then all of a sudden, his first limp we see is in this position. That is someone who could easily be a tricky limper.
Yeah.
He hasn't found anything else to limp. But it doesn't mean you don't raise the king queen. It means you play carefully.
Okay, so yes, good point. You play with that awareness.
Yeah.
So did our limper check?
Yep.
So I default to B50. I'm not, I don't really know how I think this board is good for us, so I think a B50 is fine.
Yeah.
This might be better because we've got such a good hand. Maybe we want to keep our range wide. I think I like this size better.
Yep.
We want to keep his range wide. So, okay, cool.
All right, Mike.
All right, show me the limper. Oh, it's gonna be, is he on the button?
This is a small
This
blind.
just where's the
Small
button?
Totally, button is here.
Oh, okay.
Totally reasonable small blind limp.
All right, so Jack 10 limps and we got ace 6. I would take ace 6 and just limp or check my option ace 6.
Right. So ace six, we'll look at what it does in poker coaching to the limp. In ace six is a mix, and it's about I think it's a 50% mix,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm remembering. This is me trying to remember this range that I haven't looked at in forever, and also showing off. That's the thing I'm doing here. So there it is. The raise is 25% raise for the ace six, and then poker coaching calls it ace six, doesn't like it at all. That's one of the ones they don't like to do. Okay. So he goes for it.
He's gonna ISO it. All right.
Yep,
No
totally
problem.
legit.
Sure.
And I don't think Jack 10 folds here when he limps. Let's see what they do.
I wonder if
To the
Jack
raise.
10 wouldn't limp
calls.
re-raise Jack 10 off, I don't think, would they?
Calls.
No.
Yeah, you call this whole region.
No.
Yeah, yeah, look at this thing. This is all the Broadways continue. Some of them are limp re-raises, but all your Broadways continue. And then your decent suited stuff, not even good, just decent, you just fold
And
the
that's
suited stuff.
to a 4 big blind raise.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
And he goes, and most people don't do 4, most people do 3. He went all the way to 5, but I don't think that 5 pushes out this. This guy has a 5 option, so let's do it against the 5. Against the 5, we fold. According to GTO Wiz, and according to the 3, we don't. So I don't know how much this affects the real world, but I really like seeing the difference between 3 and 5 here.
Yeah, probably in the real world, if you chose to limp this Jack 10 and you get popped to 5, you should just be folding just almost every suited combo you have
All right.
in the real world. Versus good players, then maybe you start being reasonable following like GTO type theory.
Good enough. So he calls. And bad players rewarded.
Check range if you're Jack 10, ace 6, probably c betting. I mean, you really can't go wrong if you're going to c bet this kind of board after you've ISO'd.
He does.
And I also think checking is probably fine as well.
Mhm.
I would probably default to C bet though. Jack 10 call,
Yeah,
Jack 10 check. Ace 6. So the range we would have here would be a nice little follow-up. And probably don't have to go big either. You don't have to polarize, I don't think. I think you can actually, you don't have to go big.
so like 10? Or like 7?
I'm not sure.
Let's see. He checks behind. Which I don't hate. You know, he can try to bluff the river. He can also get there on the river.
Yeah.
He doesn't do either.
Jack 10. No, I wouldn't lead here. I wouldn't lead on this queen pairing because it's very solidly within the big blind's range of hands.
Yeah, he could easily do this with
Mhm.
he could easily play ace queen this way, and when the king comes, check behind.
And now that you've got ace 6, and we did bet, did we? So we bet what, B50 on the flop?
Yeah.
And then check that turn. Not, I mean, I think we can still show it down and win. However, how much equity do I think we have here, and do we need to bet?
It's gonna be hard to win. I mean, we beat ace 9. We beat 8,
Yeah,
9.
I'm just trying to think our fold equity at this point is probably not great. And so I would probably just check behind.
Our story fits a
It-
queen.
You're never, I don't think you're ever gonna, well, you're obviously never gonna get a queen to fold.
No, no,
You're never gonna get a king that got there to fold.
right.
So all of the other kind of hands that get here after calling, I guess you could get some pairs to fold.
Yeah. Some 10s and some 5s.
Tens, nines, eights, sevens,
I mean, again,
sixes,
10x,
fours, threes,
5x.
twos,
Yeah, 10x and 5x can fold here.
better ace X. Or are you chopping with a bunch of other ace X so you can get chops to fold? Yeah, maybe we should bet.
Yeah, I think peak doesn't have this line in it. I think it doesn't give us the doesn't have those solves yet. But these guys do. We're gonna do the 5 size. There we go. We get called. The flop is 5-10 queen. Heart. Club. Sorry, that's not a club. Heart, club, not that it matters. And it was a 10 anyway, so who cares? Suits don't matter in this. There we are. All right, I reached my maximum. It only let me do one. Larry, you want to throw this one in?
Sure, can I see the,
Let me
can I
give
see
you the,
the pot?
here you go.
Okay, thanks.
What do you guys think about the river with ace 6 here? What do you guys? I initially advocated checking, but then talked myself into bluffing.
Will you replay the hand?
Sure. I think that Mark Goon is gonna bluff this river. Limp, raise, call. That makes sense. Check, bet range, call.
No. Do
Check.
you bet range?
Mark Goon does.
No, this flop is very bad for us. If you think of his limp calls, middle stuff is really bad for us. If
Mhm.
he limps
Yeah.
8-9, 10-9, queen jack, queen 8, all of that stuff, and it really
Sure.
connects with this board.
Can
Yeah.
you, what was the pre-flop action real quick? Sorry.
Small blind limp, big blind goes 5.
In
Small blind calls?
Small blind calls.
in MTTs, this board is so good for a small blind that it boots leading. On
Yeah.
mid-range boards, it boots lead.
But a different strategy, Mark Goon's strategy is going to be, he's gonna raise the limp when the
Mhm.
when the flop comes, he's going to bet his range against almost all flops, just against this action. He's simplified to that. So he bets half pot to get them to call with their weak shit and raise with their strong shit. He doesn't get raised. This king, he might continue to bet. He might not here. But at this point, he thinks they're capped and very much might want to bet him off it. So Goon might bet this. He might have also bet the turn, and I also might be, my internal Mark Goon model might be way off. He might not do any of the things I just said. But that's my understanding of how he's talked about a strategy.
I think
All
you
right,
need to,
But
are we
ready?
in agreement that I think that you need to bluff this river?
Yeah, that's where I landed on after thinking about it.
I'm thinking bluff the river.
but turn.
Alright, can you
And-
guys see my screen?
Yep, we can see it.
Alright,
Check range, we like that.
call, raise, call, check range.
And when we get there, my prediction is the sizing does not have to be like a big size, like
Right.
B60 is
Right.
sufficient.
So first thing, ace six offsuit doesn't bet this.
No, ace, so what, let's look at our ace highs, see what does bet.
But globally, it's 50-50.
Right. So we do bet this board. This is a board we can bet.
Yeah. So this region is not, though, what's interesting here, I think, is the region where we have a gutter.
Mm-hmm.
We are betting at some frequency, not entirely.
Right. And that's what we're
Um,
gonna give ourselves. We're gonna give ourselves ace four to continue, our thought process.
well, we have a six a little bit, right?
Yeah, but it doesn't bet the flop. It's not
Oh,
gonna
I
get
see
to,
your point. I see
three.
your point.
and we do bet.
Okay, so so we're betting quite a bit. We're
Yep.
betting half the time on this texture. Do we
Yep.
want to even look at like range versus range here, or it's just too complex?
No.
Okay.
We just want, we want to answer the one question, which is when we get here, when we get here with assumedly ace four, do we bluff it?
Okay, so what's the size you chose on river?
That's
On
50%,
flop? Okay,
50%.
and call, all the second pairs are calling, of course.
Why do you like the check on the turn?
All of a sudden he has a
King,
jack ten off
hearts,
that he didn't have before. We're gonna find out.
check.
All right, now with that ace four type hand,
We really want to block, we want the ace of hearts to bet, I think. It's one way we could simplify this.
and we don't have the ace of hearts.
We don't have the ace of hearts. We've got spade club.
So we
Spade
check.
club is betting a little bit. It's
Yeah.
checking, so we'll see what happens. So we go check, check,
Mhm.
and we get
The
this
river is the
queen of
queen.
clubs.
Queen of clubs.
Uh, he's gonna attack, but he doesn't attack with,
Yeah, small blind donking here would be pretty.
Yeah.
yeah. And so
But he
check,
doesn't do it with his jack ten.
and so yeah, so then we're betting high freak down here.
Yep, okay. So, but giving up is not wrong. Oh, run over that. There's, which are the ones that never do it? What do we have? If you have the heart, you don't do it. And that makes sense. We want him to be on ace of heart draws.
Yeah, that's it.
So therefore, you can bluff and run over that one more time. I want to see without the ace of hearts, do we always do it? Pretty much. It's pretty much a mistake to not do it. When you unblock, like, and ours is clubs, ours is spade club. So the spade club. Spade club, yeah, spade club gives up sometimes. Okay.
And,
Let's just look at something real quick. No, sorry, go ahead,
and
Mike.
The sizing is B60, and some B7, B80s.
B85, B60.
Not
Let's look
huge.
at something. Let's see if we, real quick while we're here, let's see if we bluff. Our case ace of hearts. We bluff everything, not even ace of
Bluff
hearts.
everything when the hearts come in.
We overbet at some frequency the ace of hearts.
Yeah.
Ace king is good enough to actually check back. Well, no, it still bets.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right. Alright, up next is Arcturus, I believe. That was Mike's hand, right?
Yep.
Okay, Arcturus,
Okay.
you get a limp from the
King nine.
hijack.
Tens raise.
Darn right. I sure don't with my four deuce. A little small.
Okay. Cool.
I want 5.5 there.
Range bet small.
He does.
Yeah, cool. Give up.
He doesn't. But he does the non-union equivalent of giving up. He bets a third.
Yeah, let's just talk about how terrible the sizing is. It doesn't really accomplish anything. You're not really folding anything out. I mean, your
Yeah, the
target
only-
should be like a really weak jack and like sevens and sixes, nines maybe.
The thing it does is it makes the turn easier to play because you don't, if you face a big bet, you fold. But if you check, you don't know what to do on a bet. And that's not the best poker. The poker that makes your decision easier isn't the most profitable poker.
Agreed. I mean, I think your options here on turn, if you're villain 309, is close to a pot size bet or check. Tell me
Mhm.
I'm wrong.
I like it.
Okay.
Yep. And I think this hand does not want to bet close to a pot size bet.
Yeah, so this is emerging. This is emerging as fuck.
Yeah. Check and, evaluate, but evaluating is hard. I make mistakes, this exact kind of mistake. This will make my life easier.
Yeah,
But we have to get comfortable being uncomfortable.
agreed.
All right. There's the call. He has no idea where he is. And then
Check.
now he has to give up.
Bet and do.
Obligatory bluff.
Although the front door flush doesn't bluff as much. The backdoor flush, if you've got the backdoor flush here, you absolutely bet.
I agree. You're right. You're right.
The front door one doesn't do it as much, but you block king 10, which is really good. And you're losing if you don't bluff. So,
Bet.
yeah,
What do you mean? Like he blocks on the turn. If he either has a6 or nothing, I don't know. You have to bluff. How pot is like
I like
filtering a6 or not.
I like the bluff here. But again, we the front door flushes in general bluff less than the backdoor flushes because the front door flush is what you want them to have. But I still want to bluff this. All right. Back on me for the next one. The limp is going to come from the king 9 and I will be 3-betting him. Oh no, the limp is going to come from the 6-7 and I will be 3-betting him. There's the 3-bet to 5.5, the size that I prefer because that's the size I do, or the other way around. 6-7 should fold this. This is not a continue, even in position. He's going to, but he shouldn't have limped, but this is really bad, I think. Okay, bad play is rewarded as usual. I can continue this bet here with this hand easily. I do, bet small, get called. Then I can get there. That's one way to play it. I'd like to play the node where I get there. This is so great. He could have an 8. So I think that I would like to get all in against an 8 more than I would like to get called by a 7. So to get all in, I want to be going 2E here. I actually don't need to go 2E. He's gonna raise me. So I just need to bet enough that the river bet isn't embarrassing. So
I think it's like B80 is like close to 2E, right?
yeah, but I can bet smaller than B80 because because he raises so many of his 8s that I'm targeting. So that makes it easy for me. So I think I can go all the way down to B50 and still get what I want out of this. Because When he doesn't have an 8, he's not gonna call, he's not gonna get all in at the end. So I can get value from his weaker range and still get all in against his 8. Because he's gonna raise it. But I don't do that. Because I don't think that far. And he folds. I just decide that he has 2 pair and I want it. Okay. I don't love my bet size on the turn there.
Can you show it again?
Yeah.
I think it's fine. I think mad concede trumps frequency.
Yes.
Arcturus, when you say front load better, do you mean like make this first bet on the turn bigger so that your river bet is not quite as big?
Yeah, exactly.
So
Mhm.
if you bet here, pot is 60, he's got 50 behind. I think your bet is fine.
Okay.
I mean, I
this
might
is
have
good,
like used like retail pricing and gone to like 1950, but I think your size is fine.
Okay.
if you
So go
if you
on.
compare EV of like beast like 16 big blind bet and 22 with MDA, like 22 will perform better. Like
Right.
bigger is better in these spots. We call 2 pair anyway. We don't fold anything. And
Also, yeah, I'm sorry, I interrupted you. Artur, go ahead.
go on, go on. It's like King 10 we indifferent even if you bet half pot. We King 10, but you got the point. Like bigger is better versus weak players. Just front load your value all the time.
The other
So
thing that is important to think about here is, in theory, you're unblocking all of his value.
mhm,
And so that's the special magic of a straight, especially on a rainbow board, is that you're unblocking all the value, so you get to go big.
right. So I'm with you on all those. Now I want to look at the special case of this is a 4-liner.
Yeah, you've got a good point.
It's like
You have that's
everything you
totally
guys said.
fine.
I think your heuristic is right on everything you said, and I believe that that's as far as I thought in game was that. But now my thought about it is that given the SPR here, we want to get that he can have 2 pair on this flop, he can have nothing, he can have pairs.
Mhm.
And if I bet a size, I mean, a single pair can fold so easily to this size on the 4-liner, right?
Yes, you have a good point about the 4-liner.
Right. The 2 pair
Two pair
is
are
gonna
gonna,
probably call this size, and the Jack Queen and the 10 Queen are gonna call. The thing, we really don't want a Jack Queen, a 10 Queen to fold. I mean, his actual hand is folding no matter what, to any size, you'd think.
yeah, yeah.
But we would really like to not price out Queen 10, Queen Jack, Jack 10, Jack 9. And
I don't think that anybody who's limping is folding 2 pair.
Okay.
I mean, you guys tell me if I'm wrong.
No, I think that's a good
Okay.
characteristic of somebody who's gonna limp call on the button like that. They're not folding freaking 2 pair.
And they're
Okay.
like, oh, I got 4 outs.
Okay, then great. Then I love this size. With that in mind, I love this size.
But I mean, your argument is valid that it's a 4-liner, and that's gonna reduce what it can call.
Um, so you're gonna be villain 314. You're gonna be someone who limps 6-7 offsuit. And
Okay.
I'm gonna give you 10 Jack here, you're calling. Great. Jack 9, you're calling.
Yeah.
10 Queen. Are you calling 10 Queen to this size? Yeah.
Top, second pair and OESD, yes.
Yeah, you're calling. Okay, and if villain 314 types call 10 Queen offsuit to this bet, then I like this bet.
Yeah, and also you're gonna cooler any 8, and I
Yeah.
mean, who knows what he
Well, the
has.
8s are easy. The 8s are easy. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like your size.
Okay.
No, I don't like your size. Well, I do like your size. I do like your size. I think you use the right size here.
I feel good about my size, and I mean that in every way. All right, here we go. Up next is Larry.
All right. I was trying to think of a joke to play off your joke, but I have nothing.
So the show that I did on Friday was in Arthur, Illinois. And the company was, their slogan for the company was big enough to serve, small enough to care.
Oh.
And my partner Katrina, who I work with, is 4 inches taller than me. And the opening line of our show is, we're Scotty and Trink. Trink is short for Katrina. And she says, and Scott is short for an adult. That's our reg. And
Well
so,
played.
right. And so for this show, the tag to that is, she says, basically what I'm saying is, I'm big enough to serve. And Scott is, and we were hoping the audience would all call out small enough to care. Because we don't have their own slogan. But they were the most polite audience we've ever performed for, so they didn't talk back to us. So they just looked and waited for the answer. They were so nice. They were such a nice group of
I
people.
think that's what we should expect from a good Midwestern small town company.
Yep, they were. Yeah,
Midwestern American politeness.
yep. Super nice people. So that was
All right.
that was the jokes about my size from the beginning of our show. There were several more jokes about my size we don't need to talk about, but just since we've got jokes about my size. All right, moving on.
But those were in the hotel later.
Say what?
But those jokes were said in the hotel later on.
Yeah, those jokes have already been said years ago. All right, here we go.
Okay, so I would anticipate A6 is going to limp here.
Yep.
Okay, Jack 2, I mean, it's kind of a weird spot, but I don't know if I'm taking this. What are you guys doing with Jack 2 here?
Folding.
gonna
Look at the
fold the
stack
jack.
sizes.
What are you gonna do, Mike?
Yeah,
Folding. Look at the stack sizes.
yeah. So if you would have a full stack here. Yeah, you just fold it.
Eh,
It's suited. It's a half a big blind, but I think folding is fine.
I think I'm gonna fold this, and I'm going to play the jack, all the way down to Jack 8, maybe even Jack 7, but definitely Jack 8.
And would you ISO or just complete?
I'm gonna complete Jack 8. Suited.
So here I would, okay, he's gonna ISO. I don't hate it.
He ISOs, and he ISOs too small.
So A6, I guess is gonna call.
Yep. Should fold. He should
Should
fold.
fold. Shouldn't limp.
Shouldn't have been there. Shouldn't have been there like that. Should have.
Okay,
opened it.
so
And
we
then
get ace 5. So I'm gonna pretend I have Jack 9. I'm gonna pretend I have Jack 10 suited here.
Mhm.
If I have Jack 10 suited of clubs, I'm gonna bet. Because I got a gutter and a backdoor, and this range I feel is good for mine. Although I think I think there's a list to become that we're seeing in solvers, and we're also seeing here. These ace-high boards aren't as good for the RFI's range as we think, because so many calling ranges include ace-X like this one. So we have to keep
Yep.
that in consideration. But generally, I think I would still bet here.
And what size?
I would go half.
Okay.
I'm not, yeah, I'm going half.
Goes for check. I
Um,
like this check behind from the ace-6. I really
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, you're right. You're either way ahead or dominated.
Yeah, I like that.
So, okay, goes check, ace. Jack 2 is kind of given up. Well, I would think, well, this reduces the amount of aces that he has available. There's only 2 aces left in the deck.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm never here, so let's just go to this hand because I don't know what I'm doing because I'm never in the spot. Let's just observe this as though we're observing to understand what fish do.
Right.
So villain 3019 is given up. Ace, she should definitely bet now. Ace 6 should definitely bet. Yeah, fine. Small bet, keep him in. Okay.
How about if that ace is the ace of hearts? So brings in no flush equity.
So that we can continue trapping. And I probably continue trapping at a higher rate.
I think so. And we've seen that with the solver. Is the solver, this is my heuristic about the solver. The solver keeps its stories consistent more often than not.
Agreed.
Yeah. And I think that's a logic, and I think that's a sensible thing to do in game. But when the diamond comes, I can see saying, hey, I could get some value from diamonds.
Yeah.
So there you go. All right. Mike.
Mm-hmm. We get limps from the 5s, I'm guessing.
Oh, no, don't you think the 8-7 is gonna limp?
Oh, yeah,
Ah.
pure.
Pure limp. All right, so the 5's limp.
All right, king 10, ISO, 4.5 for me.
I like it.
He
Too
goes
small.
3. Gonna get back to the 5s. They're gonna call. They're gonna check. This ace high, low, this ace disconnected. So we only ISO'd to 3. King 10. I think you can go either way with either checking or betting. I think again, I've tended to start to be a little bit more on c-bet versus population. Just kind of default to c-bet on boards that if I'm going to mix, I just go to the default. I go to c-betting.
Right,
And so I would probably c-bet here.
good. Okay, so here's my argument for the c-bet here, specifically on this board. So I can c-bet all my aces, right? I can check behind, my pocket 9s, 10s, jacks, queens, kings if I want to. So my bluffs, I have no suited bluffs really. Because there's no pure draw. So my bluffs are gonna come from the suited part of my range that match with this. And the offsuit bluffs have got to be the other Broadway cards. So I don't hate that.
So he goes B50. Yeah, B50-ish.
Yep.
Okay, gets called. Fine. Check. And then after I go B50 here, this 6 of hearts, we get called. It's kind of tough. I'm not sure. I mean, I think if we bet, we got to go in the polarization category. So I'd go B75 if I bet. Should we ever also just sort of check behind here? Because their calling range is pretty strong at this point. Can we bet the river instead? No, I think if I do it, I should do it now. I think we should bet now.
Okay, he does the check behind.
All right. 5s are going to check, I assume.
Mhm.
And that queen, I would absolutely be betting now. I would be betting probably in the B80. No, I'd be 60.
Okay. Do you need a heart in your hand to do it? Do you need to just block his flush just with one heart? And then you
If
don't
I
need,
had a heart, I'd definitely betting, but I'm still betting anyway.
okay,
And I changed my mind. I think a B80 is better than a B60 because we're really just looking for those under pairs. You're still going to get called by an ace and a queen. So we're just looking to fold out, some sort of weird crap range and
we want to fold out 9-8, jack 8, pocket
yeah, all the lower pairs. Yeah.
pocket 4s, pocket 5s. Yep. All right. Arturus.
Okay. Fold, check. I check, but I don't know.
You could just take your equity in this king jack here. Sure, you could do that.
I would ISO it too, 100% of the time versus a button limper.
I would ISO.
Do we have data? I would be curious to see.
This is our data that the button limping, our data is that this is what the button limping range looks like.
If
This-
we compare EV of check and raise of king jack, like that's what I want to compare.
No, because there is no button limping range. So we don't have that tool.
With okay, okay.
I mean, you're just
Okay.
miles ahead of a button limping range.
Yeah. And you're playing out of position against someone who is not a skilled player. Do you want the pot to be bigger or smaller? And I don't know.
I don't know.
I want the pot to be bigger when I'm in position against a not skilled player, but we're defining him as not skilled because he has 63 big blinds and he button limped.
Okay. I don't know. Maybe it's better, maybe not.
So this is gonna go badly for me.
In it's our hand, you can comment. I don't know. I guess we range bet.
Range bet. Oh, it's not gonna go badly for me.
It's like, thank you, sir.
Thank you. I think
I
I can just
station,
fold.
but I don't win when we station here.
Fold. Oh no, I call for one because of my king of hearts. That's not good. This
Yeah.
is good. Oh, this is good. I'm done. Oh, this is not good.
Mhm. King of
How many
hearts
big blinds
blocker.
would you like to say goodbye to right now?
About 27.
I think I want to say goodbye to 27 big blinds. 20.
No, 0. I just give up river.
Well, then you saved 26.14 big blinds.
The thing is, it doesn't work, in my experience. When you bet on the river, it doesn't work. Like these blockers versus recreationals, it's just nonsense.
So you never bluff? Heart?
In
I
this
thought-
line,
What about this line does not? What about, I'm being open-minded. I'm trying to be open-minded. What about this line dissuades you from ever bluffing?
This part.
Yeah, okay.
okay, range yourself. Like what? I don't get it. Like we have one air hand. That's it. Like king, jack, king, queen off, and you even partially fold it on the flop. Why
Yeah.
do you need to bust it? He's recreational, and as I say, it's more about that we don't generate fold equity on the river. That's why I don't bust.
Yeah.
Alright, I mean, it is true that, the obvious imposition bluff raise got there.
Yeah.
I think you have to bluff at some frequency. I just think you have to be careful with making strict absolute rules about when we don't bluff and when we do bluff. I think you just have to think in a very malleable, kind of flexible fashion when you're playing poker.
Yep. But here's I think the clue. What is it about this hand makes you not bluff it? That action right there.
Yeah, and that's fair.
That action feels like an ace or hearts, right?
Yeah, and then you see, and then, you know, this common imposition bet, check, is sometimes a trap. It's true.
Right. And even here, he's not necessarily trapping. He doesn't know that he doesn't know that his once
No, he might be concerned about being dominated.
yeah, he's not feeling great about his kicker until now. And yeah, I think I butchered this hand. I really think that
No,
this is a
I don't
fold.
think so. So I'm just kind of reverse engineering. Larry's going to be familiar with this concept of the, I can't remember what it's called, like broken aggression, whatever.
Yeah.
Scattered
And
aggression.
it doesn't really, I mean, so think about this. Let's pretend that we were in a situation where button raised and we called with king jack. They see bet, we call. The turn, we check, they check.
Mhm.
The river, we are in what's Peter Clark refers to as a river blunder theorem spot. If we do not bet, it's a blunder.
Right.
So this is kind of similar because he does that little min raise on the flop,
Mhm.
where now then he checks behind the turn.
Yep. But so I'm with you there, but his min raise on the flop to check behind the turn has a lot of hands that want to see that wanted to see a cheap turn. That's sort of the purpose of that. And the
Yeah,
hands that want to see a cheap turn,
Okay.
they like
So
that.
he got to see a cheap turn.
Okay, guys. So are we? Why we call on the flop? Because of pot odds, like implied odds, or
No, I
because
think it's a
on the
call.
flop we call because we think we are ahead. On the river we bluff because we are behind.
Mhm. I don't hate the river bluff as much as I hate how I got there. I don't like calling this, even though it's this small a bet. I don't think the king is enough. I thought it was at
Okay.
the time, but I don't think it is now. And I don't just mean that seeing his hand.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that was bad play. Okay. I think that was Arturis did that hand. Is that right? And I interrupted him a whole bunch of times. I think that's what happened. Let's see. So the limper is going to be the queen deuce offsuit.
Guys,
That's
I'm gonna step away. I'll be back.
Okay, the queen deuce offsuit. I think the ace nine is too early to three bet him. The king queen should three bet him. And I'm gonna do a little. I'm gonna do Joey's analysis for this. How do you decide whether to what your ISO range is? You go back to, you put yourself in here and say, would I open the hand in this thing, in this position? If you wouldn't, then don't open it. Then just fold. Unless this guy is a serial limper, in which case you can go. So Joey says, with no information, put yourself here and take the top half of your range. The more serial limper he is, put yourself here and take the top half of your range, and then eventually just put your range here. And ace nine doesn't open from here, so it just never makes it. So just fold it. King queen would open from here and is in the top half of your range, so king queen is an automatic three bet here. So
And
that's
to be
good.
pedantic, it's not a three bet, it's just an
I'm
ISO.
sorry, an ISO. Thank you for pedantic. Actually, and then the ace seven suited should not call this because he doesn't close the action, but he's gonna. And now the queen deuce folds, and we get to this weird version of it where yes, we're ISO'd, but we're not against the ISOer, the ISOE. We're against this guy. But the hand just got very easy. Check, bet. This is a slam dunk bet here. The board is king high, low, low. So we could happily bet this big if we want. We could bet this, we could bet 6 big blinds here. Do we want to overbet this? I don't see why.
I don't think it's worthy of an overbet.
Yeah. But certainly if he bet this 6 big blinds, I'd be fine with it. I'd totally fine. He's rarely against ace king. Bet, and it should just be a fold. The backdoor flush is not enough. Wait a minute. Backdoor flush, small bet, one overcard, 2 things. He should have 3 things.
Some backdoor straight possibilities.
Yeah, he does have that. He does have the backdoor 4-5, and it is to the good end. All right, so he calls it. Good enough. Now the king should absolutely bet, because when he does this with his 7s and 8s, they call again to this king. So bet maybe 10. Too cute, I think. This is how my wife plays, because my wife is cute.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, in theory, I think you probably get the check there, but you're not playing against somebody who's playing theory, so just try to get value, right?
Yeah, because I think the exploit is that he has all kinds of worse kings that you can get it all, excuse me, that you don't mind getting it all in against. And when he has a pocket pair or a 6, this king makes him not fold. It's one of the reasons why we don't bluff again with a king sometimes, because they call the 6. So I think bet that. He checks. Now we have to bet for value, and we have to figure that he's very weak. So this might be a situation where we bet less than half pot. Like that. I know, I respect that. Great.
So
And
what, where did his pocket pairs go? Like, you think he bets himself on wherever all pocket pairs? So instead
no,
then?
I think you bet the turn and he calls you with his pocket pairs, and that's how you get your 2 streets of value. And then on the river, he's going to fold them.
Yeah, but once you get to a river, you have to like.
You mean assuming Arturus, you mean as played?
Yeah.
Right. So here you bet. And you bet small to try to get called by some really weak shit.
Yeah, so he doesn't have 8s anymore?
He does have
Zero.
8s still. He definitely has 8s. Because he
So-
didn't fold. He called his 8s here for one time, especially if they have the 8 of diamonds. then he checked and you checked behind, so he still has all his eights.
Yeah,
it's-
so why we block now?
Why do we
On
block
the-
now?
Yeah,
Because we don't think we don't think the eights are calling a big bet.
I don't know. I don't agree.
And because this happens. And then I think we can trivially call. I don't think we need to raise this.
I don't know, I will raise again. He
Okay,
doesn't rap about.
okay. But what does he rep what does he rep that's calling it? You think he does, so he does this with king jack?
Yeah, exactly. King Jack, King 10.
All right.
It's not a boat, I don't know. It's like thin, click backwards. I don't know.
Oh.
It's like some nines. I don't know what he's doing.
Well, that's what this guy did. This guy just clicked him right back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but bigger.
So there you go. All right. Larry stepped away. Mike,
Okay, show me the lipper.
ace 10.
There it is. All right, so if I were at this table, I wouldn't ISO any of those hands that are in
Nope.
position. So let's see where the ISO comes from before you get to king nine, because that's your first legitimate option here for me.
And what would you do with king nine suited if it's folded to you here?
So I think I would would I want to ISO that early position? I think I might just complete king nine suited. That's probably bad.
No, I think it's good. That's what I would do.
Yeah, it's hard. I don't know if ISOing is better though. That's the problem.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think to that early position, I think I just complete.
This guy has his aces. This guy is in the aces position. You have a lot of ways to play. And
Yeah, I'm not.
doesn't care if you don't care if the big blind comes along. You got king nine suited. That's my opinion. But here's the guy who's going to ISO him.
Oh,
And-
really?
And this is not Joey approved.
No, it is not.
And this size is not Scotty, Larry, Mike, or Arturis approved.
Yeah, now it should fold back around to ace 10, and ace 10 should just fold.
Because if he raised and got re-raised, he would fold ace 10 there. But you don't limp ace 10 in order to fold it to this. That's not why you limp. So that's not surprising. And let the bad play be rewarded by
All
him.
right.
And
This, it's kind of funny. This is actually a flop that probably wouldn't be too bad to like donk bet,
Mhm.
but you should check.
He checks.
And 7-9 after ISOing and gets this flop. Probably wants to check back a lot. Like, kind of like a big portion of his range should be checking back here. This hand, I would check back. I would check behind.
Right. But we know that he doesn't, right? We know he's going to bet this. If you're somebody who ISOs 7-9 suited, this against an early position limp, you don't check this back.
Great. Yeah, I don't care what this guy's doing. I just not
Right.
trying to think of what I
No,
would
no,
do.
here's why you care what this guy's doing. We're trying to learn, we're trying to get into their minds enough to play against them. So that's part of the exercise is what should he do? What
Oh,
will
I
he?
see what you're saying, Scotty.
Right.
Yeah.
We want
yeah.
to start predicting what they do. And
Oh, yeah.
does
No,
our
they're
model
gonna
match?
way over C bet. Like these
Right.
opponents are gonna way over C bet.
Right. So
Yeah, for
let's,
sure.
we say that out loud. We might be wrong, but that's part of the exercise. Yep, that's what we expected. We want to have an accurate model of our opponents as much as we can. There we go. That's
So ace 10 should just call here.
mhm.
I don't
Not
think
check-
I don't think they
this
can
size.
start check raising on this kind of board and flop.
I think we could check raise to a 2.5 or a 3. But against this big size, I think we don't. He doesn't.
Check the ace 10. I would check 7-9.
And he does once he realizes that.
Can we block bet? Ace 10 block bet. I don't know.
Absolutely.
Probably. I mean, if you're gonna bet, I think it's a block bet. I don't
Yeah.
think you need to go bigger.
Which size, 25 or 33?
But I don't know if checking is better because you want to get bets from worse. Yeah, I think I would just check as opposed to bet.
Okay. And when you block bet, what size?
I'll just be 33.
Be 33, okay. And he goes for the
It goes like
slightly
a
bigger, goes
B50,
B50.
which I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah.
It's like, but what is better, right? What is the better? What is more EV? Is it checking or is it blocking? Is it going for bigger value?
Against his range, I don't know because I don't have enough sense of what his range is with this. Against his hand, this is great because his hand can so easily check behind. He doesn't have to turn his 9 into a bluff.
Yeah.
So
But to kind of go back to your point, Scotty, I think, yeah, population will over aggress in an exploitative way, like I do. Like that's me, right? I typically to weaker players, I will over aggress a lot of the times.
yep. Yeah. And the way we think the most theoretically sound way to play this, we believe, is the flop should go check, check. That should be checked. On the turn, the ace-10 bets and the 7-9 calls. And on the river, depending on size, the 7-9 does a lot of folding.
Probably.
Yeah. That's what I think. I think is more theoretically sound. Arturas, I give you a fold from the 6s. That's disciplined. And a limp from the 8-3. No. And a limp from another ace-6. Look at all this ace-6 on the button that we've been seeing limping.
Yeah, it lines up with your charts, the offsuit aces.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
a weird, it's kind of, yeah.
Larry, this is going to be your hand. You're back.
Okay. Yeah, twos are kind of strange here. I don't know what I'm doing with twos. I think I defer to overlamp. What do you guys think? Is that nitty?
No,
I
it's
think I would too. I think I would overlimp the deuces. Start ISOing around 6s.
Yeah, so I think often what we see in poker in these tournament, this clearly doesn't necessarily apply to the situation, but it's just interesting that very common inflection point with pairs is around 7s and 8s.
Ah, okay.
But so okay, yeah, so I don't think. What about you, Scotty? What are you doing here? Taurus? Are you guys ever
Oh,
ISOing?
I think the strategic tension of wanting to, flop a set cheap versus versus getting the big blind to fold everything that has a ton of equity against your deuces. That those compete. The fact that you get to play against someone with a shitty range with any hand is always good. But if he's going to raise, it should be bigger than that.
Yeah, so I would ISO this, I think, against cutoff if I was guaranteed position on button. Here, I think I set
Oh
mine.
yeah. Oh yeah. If you're in position, different. But so I don't hate this, but I hate his size.
Yeah, I think this is too small.
And I think the superior play is to be patient and just call this. And then
Yeah.
if the big blind ISOs, and this guy calls, it's an easy call. If the big blind ISO size is too small, it's an easy call. And like that, depending on
Yeah,
where he does.
agreed.
If he goes
So he
that,
chose this line, so he's gonna get a call.
Mhm.
2. You're not gonna 2. Well, now this is where we are, and we have. We really just need to put a bet in here. I would again be 50.
yeah, let's continue. I as played, bet.
I think B 33 is too small with our holding.
Hmm. Check is,
Maybe I would go up to B75 because I'm pure bluff at this point with the hand.
Yep.
B50 I think is fine. Okay, he checks. He should set money.
Yep.
Bet back. Okay, now you got to bluff, dude. Bottom of range.
2 street bluff, not
You
one
know
street,
what you got to do.
2 streets.
Come on, 6, 7, 9. Nope. No. All right. He's clear checking down. Limper, you know what you got to do. Ace close blocker.
Yeah,
Make it rain.
make it rain. Come
Check.
on, ace of clubs.
Do it. Even though you're. Oh no. Just a shit show, Scotty.
Yes,
Let's move on before I vomit.
we do not approve.
Before I
Alright,
spit up in my
Curtis, this is
mouth.
your hand. More deuces.
Uh-oh.
Let's see. And the deuces are the limp, deep. They are limping for a set.
And 7 raise.
Yep, let's see who it is. Who do you, you go through, you tell me which of these you want to ISO with, and
Bottom.
which of these you think they will ISO with.
I don't know what we ISO. Bottom should ISO.
Okay. Do you, so if this is you, do you wanna, well, do you want to ISO ace four offsuit here? The answer is no. Do you want to, do you want to ISO king jack offsuit here? Not as clear.
No.
Okay. He does.
Because I don't know, like you need to.
Poker
Hmm.
tracker is hold the man, do poker tracker, step the ground.
Yep, there we go.
Yeah. I don't know, like if you should get data for king jack if it's good ISO. Anyway, we ISO, we bet.
What size do you want to bet here?
Small. Small, probably range bet.
Here, more
Hmm.
feedback.
Oh, oh,
Sun color.
this is. If you're ever gonna call with deuce deuce here, you have to have the deuce of spades.
Yeah.
I think it's probably a good fold anyway, but gotta have the deuce of spades.
Never.
Never.
Right. You want to continue betting your king? You're this guy.
He check raise. I don't
Nope.
know.
You didn't check raise.
What do
You
you?
want to check bet
Oh,
call?
he call? Oh my bad. Yeah. Half or whatever. Doesn't matter.
I
So
think
we're
that-
getting a little interference in the audio.
If you ever, hey Toda, if you ever check behind with this jack, it should be, it can be the one that has a spade in it. That's what I think.
Yeah.
You sure?
But no, I'm not sure. I'm not sure of anything. It's poker. And we can't,
But it's inverted.
my theory is that without the spade, it is more likely he is on spades, therefore you should charge his spades. Without the spades, if he is on spades, it's more likely the spade comes in. By preventing him from being on spades and the spades coming in both, that's if you ever are going to check a king here. That's why I want to have a spade when I do it. But am I ever checking a king here? I don't think I'm checking king jack here. I think I'm
Just
betting.
bet for value, like it's a limper, right? We just bet versus where tens or whatever we do.
There he goes. Okay. Tura, the next hand is yours. And there's going to be a limp. Or we've done this hand already. Okay, so we are at the end of that sequence. Let me grab some more limps here. Here we go. The reason, by the way, the reason I'm grabbing them sort of a random area is that that if all of them showed up from somebody who was a serial limper, we wouldn't be getting a good accuracy of how population plays. We'd be going, how do we play against 80% limpers? And we've done enough of that in the game. We've seen a lot of 80% limpers, right? Two more. 1121, yeah. All right, that's enough of that. Replay hands. Too big. All right. Here we go. Tura. You get this limper. You get a 7-jack limper. So that means he's limping. So if you're a thinking player back here, the very fact that he limps 7-jack means that we've probably seen him limping a fair amount. He's also on a broken stack. So like that. So do you want to ISO with king 10 offsuit?
I'm not sure. It probably yes, but it's borderline, I think.
I agree. It's borderline because if you use Joey's theorem, in the low jack, king ten offsuit does not open very often, so that would be a fold. If this guy's a serial limper, king ten is certainly opening in this position, so he can ISO. He doesn't do it.
8-4, it's probably just a fold, I think.
But he goes for the ISO. I think it's
And
better.
I would fold the rest.
Can we go back? Let's look at stack sizes. You have 6-7-6 can fold. There's no implied answer.
Yeah. Yeah, he just doesn't, yeah. He doesn't have it. There we go.
Doesn't have stack.
All right.
99.9.
Okay, so Jack
What would you do?
Jack 7 would check, and Ace 4, I wanna bet small.
I want to bet small too. I don't hate this check behind.
Yeah, the stack sizes make this
Yeah.
check much better than if they were full stacked.
Right. You can get all this in 2 streets. And then sometimes this happens.
Yeah. Now I wanna. I think I wanna raise. My hand is worth more than 1 big blind.
Yeah.
There's still more. We still need some protection.
7, 14.
So I think I wanna raise, and because this bet is so small, I think I wanna go pretty big. Like, at least 7, I
Okay.
would say.
Right. So I want to go here the exact 2E size. Because I'm gonna bet the turn and the river, unless it's, I guess unless it's the 10 or king of spades. I don't think I'm gonna bet the 10 or king of spades.
What's the sizing you wanna use?
So I want to go 2E. So if I go to 7, which is what you said, the pot will be 14, 20, so it'll be basically 24, 23.50, 24. And after 7, that leaves him with 18 left. I'm sorry, 19 left.
Oh, I haven't,
That's
I
about right.
wasn't
Yeah.
focusing.
Yeah, 7 is good. I like 7.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
And now Jack 7. Out prob. I'm not sure. Out. Jack 7 can probably try again with 1 big blind.
What does 1 big blind accomplish?
Him not bluffing you. If he raises, he probably has,
Okay,
and you can easily fold then.
okay. So that may be in villain 776 may play that way, but for you, although you would never be in this situation, you wouldn't have Jack 7 here. I would not use that as a general heuristic because one of the things people respond to on those bet smalls is the reason we bet small to induce is because they induce. So you're saying if I bet small, it keeps him from
Okay.
bluffing me. And if I bet small, I think it encourages a lot of bluffs.
Yeah, okay, but then you the best choice is to check folds.
But he goes for the 1.
And Ace 4 I would raise probably.
Definitely raise.
And now you fold Jack
Yeah,
7.
targeting a queen, trying to get a queen to call, and he gets a jack to call. So
So if I saw Jack 7 folding, I think it would be still fine. But I'm not sure.
Yeah.
What do you do? You check and then he bets. What do you do with the jack?
right, so I wouldn't be here in this situation, but just as played, you've got to give somebody advice on this river. And this river, let's see, you bet the turn 1, kept him in wide. check call depending on size. That's his best play.
Or you
Or you,
or you bet small but bigger than one big blind. So
or you
let's say
bet, or you bet 3 big blinds and fold to a
Yeah.
raise.
Okay,
But either way, you fold to the raise.
thank you.
Okay. Next one is me. The limp is going to come from an unpredictable position. 10-8 is gonna limp. Fold, fold, complete and fold and check. So there shouldn't be any raising here, but the ace four is gonna raise. But I don't think he should. And if he does, I think that's a terrible size. We've said all that already. There's the fold. 8-10 should be folding to raises, but to this size, 8-10 in position should fold. He should fold. He should fold. All right, there we go. He should bet. Ace four should bet, even though this is marginally made, he should bet this. He's got the best hand here most of the time. He's got a decent draw. And he is absolutely vulnerable. The next card is going to make him unhappy most of the time. So he bets big. I think this is a bad idea on we're not on boards where the straight is already in. We don't have big bets very often. So I think that this should be a small bet and he gets a fold. Larry,
All right, I hope for some action from deuce seven, but it's not gonna happen. So I assume ace eight's gonna win and and 9-9 is gonna ISO. So yeah, you have to ISO this. It can be uncomfortable to play post, but you gotta ISO.
Mhm.
Okay,
and we like
9-9-9.
and
That's
we
good.
and finally we've seen an ISO size that we can at least respect.
Yes, it's true.
I want it even bigger. I want it 5.5 to 6, but it's not, but at least this will do sometimes what you want it to do.
Yeah. Okay, so you're gonna need to bet. You know you're gonna be uncomfortable with eights out of position, but you're gonna have to bet. I think so then we have eight equity. B30's fine.
Are you okay with him checking nines as check calling nines?
It's just really uncomfortable. And I'm not, I was thinking about that and I was thinking that maybe I would bet more if I had a spade.
Yeah.
And I would check more with this combo. It's kind of like a 3-bet pot where you are betting with a lot of your range.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm kind of thinking like me. I think checking is fine too. It's just super uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I think it's very player dependent, right? You can have some passive players that are just going to check down and there's nothing. So, okay, so this guy calls. I'm just curious what his, can you go back? Yeah, he's right on it. That's interesting. Versus X is spot on. Not
Yep.
including implied odds. Okay, so you get to call.
Yep. I like it. I like his call.
Yeah, I think you called it. So nines has a choice between polarizing his under pair here or trying to get the showdown to realize his equity. Decent. I think this is one of the toughest choices that in poker for me at least. After you take an aggressive action pre-flop, you see bet and you're out of position and you've got marginal equity. I have no backdoor equity here. But my sizing on flop was not filtering. I think I probably default to a check there. I think I probably pussy out to a check. I might be influenced by the cards. I think either is fine. He's taking a polarized line. You're gonna get a call here.
He's taking the mini polarized line, the 75%,
Yeah.
not the overbet polarization,
That's true.
which is what most of us do.
I think if you're gonna, so Mike here I think Mike is really good at taking aggressive lines, better than me, frankly. And I think I think a better size here is to go to 5 if you're choosing to do with polarized money. It's kind of like in between. So what's your target here? When you take this size, your target is stubborn 6s, 5s, maybe 8s, maybe your hand, maybe bad jacks.
Yep.
I mean, you're gonna fold out some, but I think you can go bigger. So so this guy's playing passively, it's fine. Okay, so the way I look at this, and you guys can tell me if I'm wrong, but the way I look at this is that this card is good for your bluffing range. Because he's not, as a limper, he's not smart enough to think of card removal. But you know, this has removed a lot of kings from his range. So I think you can continue to barrel. And also front door miss. Let's look over what missed. Front door missed, back door missed, queen jack, queen 10, all the gutters missed.
All straights missed.
Yeah, there's no straight. So, I think that let me see what's behind. But also it's awkward here because if he shoves it, well, I think you can just overfold if he shoves. So, I like a 30 to 45 here. I'm taking this line. I think this card is good. I think it removes kings from the range. I think you do a 30 to 45.
Okay, so I'm gonna challenge you on something here.
I'm open to it. Go for it.
Alright. I'm gonna give you just a couple of hands that I'm gonna put in villain's range that makes some sense here. I'm gonna give him 10 jack, and it doesn't matter whether it's offsuit or suited in here. I'm just
Okay.
gonna give him 10
Sure.
jack. Does he fold 10 jack to 30 or 35?
I think he's indifferent. Like triple barrel.
Okay,
But
I-
let's put him in the recreational space and maybe he calls down more.
right. So a button limper with 10 jack here, when the king comes, I think they call more jacks than if this river were, certainly than an ace or a queen, but I mean, than if this river were a deuce.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay, so does a jack fold to a jam here?
Yes.
Okay, now I'm gonna give you, so against a jack, a jam is good and a 30 is kind of suicidal. Except
Okay.
if you're lucky,
I'm
right?
open to that.
Okay, now does this guy ever have pocket 10s, pocket 9s, or pocket 8s as played?
Yeah.
I say no.
You don't think he's ever living.
I don't think he open limped them on the button.
Okay. Fair.
I mean, they're, let's look
Yeah,
at our,
let's
look at
look
our
at it.
limping, our button limping range.
Yeah. Someone's been studying some charts. Yeah, you're right. It's the
Not a
least-
lot of
the
them,
least like
not a
three
lot
hands.
of them there. So he could have it, but
Low frequency.
if he does, and by the way, 9s we beat, screw 8s. We beat 9s. So it's 10s, queens, and aces. And he doesn't have those.
Mhm.
So the flush draws, we don't need to bluff. So you're
Yeah.
either trying to get him to fold a jack, which is the same as which is at this point the same as getting him to fold queens or folding 10s, which I don't believe he has, but I believe he has jacks. You're either trying to get him to fold a jack or not. And I think your bet of 30 does everything wrong.
Okay.
Do you see why?
I think your argument is that it's merging and that we're not really targeting an appropriate part of his range.
I think so.
Yeah,
I
I'm
think
open to that. I think
you
I'm
beat-
open to that.
he can have deuces, he can have 3s, but whatever. Deuces, 4s, 5s, maybe 6s here. Those fit. Some people limp those and they might have stuck around.
So,
But-
so our options here are check or be more polar with our sizing. The argument.
think so, yeah.
Okay, so what
And
sizing
then
do you
jack-
think you would use here?
60 or 78.
Okay,
We're gonna try to get a jack to fold, or we're gonna try to take our showdown, and then for our showdown, we can block bet and fold to a raise, or we can check and evaluate based on size.
so you think there's three sizing options here? Check, block bet, or shove, right? Is that
Right.
fair?
Right. And your block bet is, I think, the worst of those three, but I know why you do it. You block bet to prevent him from bluffing you, which is not the best poker. You're not trying not to get bluffed,
Mhm.
but I understand it. It has merit. I just don't think it's the best choice. The check and call, depending on size, has total merit, and turn it into a bluff and try to get a jack to fold is fine, but let's try hard to get a jack to fold. Let's see what he does. Tries to get a jack to fold.
Finds it.
I respect it.
So can we go through the sizing one again real quick?
Okay.
Because I think you're right. I think my thinking is flawed. So I want to
And
see
then
his
someone
sizing.
else, and then anybody who and then somebody else either disagree with me or tell the other side, because I've said I've made my argument really strongly, and I don't know if it's right, but that's because
But you sounded really right.
right.
That's
Well,
more
I'm good. That's what I'm good at. I'm good at sounding convincing even when I don't know the answer. That is that's part of my job. So my argument to boil it down is this: as played, he has hands like he has small pairs, he has suited connectors, he has offsuit aces, he has the king in the 10 area. He has this area here, some of which slams into this, and a bunch of which doesn't, right? And then he's got some of this stuff down here. And then he's got some suited aces. That's what he has a lot of. We follow up, let me get back to poker tracker here. We bet the flop. He can call with his queen 10 that he has there. He can call with his jack 10 that he has, and he can call with his clubs and maybe some backdoor spades.
Yeah.
All those things can call to this size. They do. Spade comes in, we bet big. This polarizing bet here has knocked out his 4s, 5s, and 6s already.
Let's also think about what his sizing is as he's preparing. Like he already knows this is probably a good player. He already knows he's going to shove river on a lot of rivers. Some rivers he's going to give up. But his sizing, he's thinking about sizing. He's thinking, I'm putting in 15, roughly 30, 45 with an overbet behind.
Yeah.
So he knows what he's doing. He's like, I'm setting up a shove here.
He's keeping in jacks. Jacks
Yeah.
don't fold here to this bet very often.
Yeah.
It might sometimes. Certainly a jack with clubs is not folding. There are no straight draws that sort of happened here. But he's folding out a lot of 4s and 5s and 6s have folded now. And ace 3 has folded unless it's ace 3 of spades. Right? Ace 3 of spades called. On this river, he has the two best choices are check and let spades and clubs bluff and try to be smart enough to know when to call and when not to call, but don't fold automatically. And trying to get, and trying to get his jacks to fold. And 30 to 45 doesn't get the jacks and their non-union equivalent pocket 10s and the hand that he never has, pocket queens. They're all the same hand though. It doesn't get any of them to fold 30 because when the king pairs, this guy has to hang on with second pair for 30, but maybe not for 78.
And then he's got this dramatic sizing that he can use on the river.
Right. And then the other thing is this, which is when he has a full house, it'd be a nice bet for this. When he has king jack, when he has ace king, this is a fine bet, get called by lesser kings. So it isn't like this bet is only his bluffs. He has value that wants to go here.
Yep.
So that's my argument. Anybody want to argue against that before we move on?
I I think when I was thinking about the hand split, I think the best option is to check call probably like any bet on the river
Okay,
because it's not many kings he has in his range and so many stuff missed that I don't think he's betting a jack on the river. And yeah, I think he has so many bluffs that we should probably call with nines every time.
great.
If he's bluffing, if he's
I
never
totally-
bluffs, obviously would not. But
So I totally respect that, but again, Larry, that says no bet of 30 to 45.
Yeah,
And
agreed.
Mike asks the question, Mike typed in why block, and the answer is, we think block bet is not a good, is not the best choice, but the reason people do it, and we know we know
Yeah.
other people.
No, I heard you when you
Right.
explained it earlier. Yeah, I
Oh,
typed it before you
okay,
explained it.
Okay, good. All right,
I
moving
think
on.
it's not a good, like you said, it's not a good option.
But it's an understandable option and we've all done it. All right. That was, whose hand was that?
Larry.
Larry's, right. Or else why else would I be arguing against him? Other than your joy of it. Mike, you're up.
Okay, show me the limper, Scotty.
Queen deuce suited.
All right, queen deuce suited. Well, I would not ISO ace eight off. I don't think unless, yeah, that would be pretty loose on my part. I probably have in the past, but I don't think I would. And so the king six in the small blind could probably get some ISO in there.
Yep.
I think the king six to a single limper. I almost prefer ISOing it, ISOing multiple limpers
Yeah, I think
as
I want,
opposed to just a single limper. So I might just complete the king six, but that's where the ISO's coming from.
right. And the ace eight here, if this guy is a 86% limper, you know, we've seen some of those guys. Ace eight might be okay. Ace nine, easy. Ace eight, maybe. All right. King six does it. I have to get out of the way with my 10 jack. So good job, king six.
Yep. Fold queen two.
Fold queen two, or don't.
All right. So
Just
got a good
this.
flop. Good flop for our hands. If you ever wanted to try to play balanced, I guess now would be the time to check this, but maybe it's still not a bad time, even against population. Maybe we can just check this and go for two streets on the turn in the river. If we bet now and get called, then maybe slow down a little bit. I think
Yeah,
those are my
unless we pick up a heart, a king, or a six. Yep. So I like it. He does the bet,
options for the bet. Good. He's gonna call.
and he should call here. He shouldn't be here,
Sure.
but as played, he should not fold here. We agree.
Okay, obviously a nice little bink for us that takes out any real worry. Without any particular reads that this guy has been like really aggressive, would just continue betting, and I would bet large. I would bet B75, B80, close to pot.
And maybe this is even a spot for an overbet. This hand's good enough to get it all in.
No, you're right. I'm with you. I think an overbet would actually be pretty good here.
Yeah, I don't think we ever get. I don't
Considering
think.
our ranges, considering our hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I now want to correct myself. I said that this hand is good enough to get it all in. No, it's not. Not with 127 behind. Not at 9x, you know, almost 10x SPR. If this goes in with a 10x SPR, our two pair is not good. But we can get a bunch of money in.
Yeah, good point.
Ooh,
But
they
he-
go 2x.
Yeah. He may not be going to try to get it all in, but he's getting a lot of it in. So I like it.
Let's go back. Is this a poor call? I mean, we know it's a poor call and we see the equities and pot odds, but what are you guys doing? Well, you're
There's
never
a-
here, so
This hand has a ton of implied odds.
that's a
What
valid
hand? The
point.
queen deuce?
Yeah.
It also
Alright.
has some pretty serious Reverse implied odds.
It certainly does. If he hits a deuce or if he hits a spade under a different scenario, he goes to hell. But it's
No.
only the ace high flush draw. It's just, he's going second. He's not going third nut. So,
No,
Second nut, you probably
I
call.
would fold this.
okay.
Is somebody arguing for that this is a good call?
We can actually, I mean, we could arithmetically figure it out, but you're right about second nut. What about ace deuce suited? Spades here.
Oh, I think I think your nut is a much different, better call, yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
but then you don't have the pair with it, so. it doesn't
Right. This
matter,
is,
but,
this is closer to ace four suited than it is to ace deuce suited.
yeah. I think folding is fine. This is ridiculous. This sizing is never seen at this.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think, Scotty? It's a tough one.
I think I think it's an easy call to a pot size bet. And against the 2x, it's hard, but look at how deep they are. He's got
Yeah,
5.
Those are the implied odds. So I'm gonna just figure out the implied odds real quick and send it. I'll
Okay.
put it in chat.
Yeah. And it's all about what Mike said, which is the reverse implied odds. All you care about is, are you against the ace of spades here? You know, the suited
So-
ace.
We're gonna, his equities. Oh my god.
I don't know what happened.
Okay.
Oh, because skate got here. That's why it was telling skate. All right, so let's see.
Was a bet of 25.
Okay,
Sorry.
that's okay. I'm just gonna move this guy over there and let's see what he does. So to the 25, he calls. And that's one of the binks. That we counted that one. And this is your hand, Mike.
Oh, this was my hand. So we
Over
went
bet.
2x on flop and we got called, and then this queen shows up. What do we got here? We got about a 2-to-1, a little less than 2-to-1 stacked pot ratio, like a 1.5. King 6. Boy, I think feels like we should just check and evaluate. I'm trying to decide if like a block would be okay. We get called by better. Not anymore. That really counterfeits us.
The block is, the block is out.
Yeah. So probably check and see what kind of a bet we face.
Yeah. He blocks
He goes for the B10.
the B10 block. Well,
Again, I don't think this does anything.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I also like check. The only reason I could go for the block bet is to lose less money if they don't raise.
so there's that. And let's queen 2 give him his answer. Yeah, at least you made it cheap.
So 4-to-1. 4-to-1, and you're just I mean, you're only beating bluffs, right? You're never beating any kind of value now.
Nope.
Maybe chopping, potential chop, but that's terrible.
You're chopping value. Who are you chopping with? You're chopping with king
Like king
deuce, king
5,
3, king 4, and king 5.
king
How about
5,
chopping
king
with
3, king
7?
deuce. Yeah. That feels like a fold.
Yeah. I agree.
I mean, after you 2x it, and then yeah, I think it should be a fold.
Yeah, I mean, we have this thing. When you, here's the heuristics for block bets that I have. I don't know if they're right. First thing, you can only block bet if you have a chance of being called by worse. It has to be a value bet in some part of its region, or else it's not a block bet.
Well, you can bluff block bet.
No, right. This is the value block bet.
Right.
So you don't block bet for value unless you can get called by worse. And then in that value stream, you should have the block folds and the block call, block raises, the ones that you do and don't fold. This one, if it's going to be, this one doesn't belong in the block bet call category. if you're gonna make if you're gonna do this, you should be check calling and not block bet calling, I think. Make it easier for this to be a bluff because you only beat bluffs, blah, blah, blah. So there you go. Arturus. Yes, and the block bet bluff is the one where where you have nothing in your hand. So the block bet bluff here is, sorry, let's get to the right hand. It's this one. If I lost it, I've lost it. All the king tens, we did that one. We did that one. Here we go. In this one, if somehow you got here with this, your block bet bluff has got to be something like 5-7, something that has no chance of winning even against his jack high. So you bet small because you get a jack high to fold. But what hand could you possibly have here as played?
10 jack of spades.
10 jack of spades.
You ISO, you C bet, you over bet, and then block bet.
To get what to fold? An ace?
An ace
guess-
high. Yeah,
yeah,
no,
okay,
ace high is not
get it.
calling your 2x though.
Yeah, ace high's not calling your 2x. Ace 10, ace jack.
Well, actually, ace x of spades is.
Yeah, so the ace X is there, and you gotta get the ace to fold. Yeah, they'll fold to will an ace fold to this? Yeah,
Yeah,
Nice.
it's super exploitative.
yeah.
Just
It's hard to-
so I
Okay.
put the numbers for implied odds in chat. Notwithstanding that we're only drawing to the second nuts, we're not drawing to the nuts, and we do have enough behind. So assuming our probability of the nuts, he had 26% to win, but assuming our probability of the nuts was 18%,
Mhm.
we need to have 77 chips behind with this bet size, and it was there.
And he had 125 behind.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it made
So
sense as long as we weren't up against the the suited ace of spades.
yeah, so arithmetically we're getting it, but I mean, Mike made a very good point that we're not drawing to the nuts. That changes everything.
Okay. All right.
That might have been the most interesting hand of the day.
Might be. Arturus, see if you can get a more interesting hand. The limper
Okay.
is the queen seven. All right, who should I sow?
No one.
Get in the spirit, Tor.
Got tough mid.
Find it, man.
What do you mean?
Let's find out.
You're
It's gonna be
forcing us, ISO.
It's gonna be the
There's
queen
no
jack.
natural ISO.
Yeah, this is ambitious, but not terrible. Queen jack does open from this position.
Yeah.
Queen jack doesn't open 2 positions back. So this is ambitious. This is insane.
Will do ISO king 5 your hand on the bottom?
No.
Yeah.
No, even against this serial guy, I don't bother with the king 5. Just go, I just pass it up and.
Yeah, don't ISO, don't bluff ISO short stacks.
Yeah,
It's got to be purely linear.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Right.
Especially UTG.
right. If this guy has got a VPIP of 90, that means it's gonna be, in 3 hands, I'm gonna have a better hand to do it to, so don't bother. I don't need to take this one. And you can say, but every edge is an edge. Yeah. That's my argument. My argument is, Right, but he goes for it.
Oh wow, what is this?
I know.
Yeah, check. I don't know. Do we bet queen jack? I guess we don't get blown out of. I could.
can bet
Queen jack
jack
makes half or check.
You can bet here. I mean, this guy should have a quite strong range to call in the small blind with this. He doesn't, but he should. And so that's a little scary, but you can bet 5
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just
and buy
trying.
yourself. And you can bet 5 on your double gutter and then choose to take a free card if you want one.
Yeah, it's fine. I
Yeah.
don't mind.
Yeah, all right. Tura.
He skips.
Oh, okay, skip, skate. I give you a limp of 9-6 offsuit.
All right, I'm definitely gonna ISO to about maybe like 4, 5.
I like it. Oh, too small.
Yeah, definitely. Uh, okay, yep, heads up.
Right, this 9-6 should clearly fold. We know that, he doesn't. As usual, bad play is rewarded.
Right, I imagine it's gonna go. I don't know, they might lead out since they are, it wasn't really a true ISO and they do have a pair. And they are short stack, so I imagine they are. I don't know. Maybe they're gonna check. They should check, right? Standard check, and then
Yep.
okay, then villain. Um, I don't like that they don't have a heart, so let's go for the check without a heart.
Yeah, it's marginally made. You have the best hand, you have the best hand a lot of the time,
Yep,
but he goes for it.
that's made points. Okay, uh, I think it's I don't know. Okay, so they bet the size. They bet about like they bet like half pot, pretty much. Um, I don't know. I think they don't have to go so much. They could have bet like 3 bigs and done the same
Mhm.
job. But okay. I imagine 9-6 gonna call.
And and although you should never have 9-6 here, if you're advising a friend who's here, I think they have to call with 9-6, especially with the 6 of hearts. I think they do have to call, and I don't think they should raise.
Right.
Ah, this is great. This is our example here.
Yeah.
This is how does the 6 play now?
I think they're gonna go for the check line again,
Yep.
since that's what they did on the flop. And I think here, of course, it's less likely anybody has a queen because there's one on the board. So, but I mean, ace high. I don't think we have to bluff. I mean, we have showdown with ace high,
Mm-hmm.
and also, but at the same token, if we are gonna get folds, if we are gonna continue, we shouldn't continue small. And then, wait, actually. We don't have enough to bluff the short stack, so I think we shouldn't go for it. That's my go.
I like it. Check behind. I like it. Because sometimes you get there.
Yep, we could go for a thin value here, right? I mean,
Mhm. Especially
it's
with the 8 of clubs.
yeah, it's entirely possible that they check call then queen on turn, flop and turn, right? So let's go for some thin value. Let's go not too much. I mean, there's 2 overs to.
Right.
Let's go like I don't like 10. I don't know.
Right. And we're assuming here that he checks. If we get bet into, I don't think we raise just because we have the 8 of clubs. We call because we have the king of diamonds if we get bet into. But we don't get bet into. So yeah, let's go for thin value.
Yeah, maybe even smaller. Let's go like 7 or something. I don't know. I think he should.
I like 7. Skate just muted himself, so I'm gonna say that he said, why not 7? And let's see what the guy goes for. He goes for 8. Good enough. And he gets called. Fabulous. Well played by the ace king. Right, this is me. I'm gonna predict the limp will be the 10-7 or the 8s, but let's see who does it. It is the 8s limp. The 9-6 should not ISO him. The ace-4 suited can absolutely ISO him. And I think it's a good ISO. He goes for it, too small. folds around to the eights, who should absolutely not fold. Do they ever limp re-raise eights? Nah, I don't think eights are a good limp re-raise. Just call. And try to flop well. Well, that's not bad. Check range from the eights. Ace four. Can do a single stab. You know, can do that sort of weak stab it once and then give it away if he doesn't do it. He can also check behind. He does have an ace. He's beating a lot of things. He's beating king, queens, and all that kind of stuff, which may or may not bet. So if it were me and I was here and this happened, I would bet my ace four because it's hard for you to hit a paired board of 10, 7, 7. So I might be able to take it out right now. So I bet about 3 and then give up. He goes 5.5. I think that's unnecessary for what he gets. The eights should not check raise this. They shouldn't have check raised before. To this size, they shouldn't, and they absolutely shouldn't fold, especially with the king with the eight of hearts. But he does. Wow.
Very tight.
TFT. Larry, you're up. So making his 5.5, because if the eights were going to call the 3 and not the 5.5, good on you, 805 for winning the hand that I was going to lose. All right, Larry.
Yeah, with that last hand, I think sometimes people think I'm set mounting, that's all I'm doing. If I don't hit the set, I'm folding.
Yeah, but I think eights are too big to set mine and against this board.
Yeah, I mean, he should never be limping anyway, right?
Yeah, he could set, I mean, he could fold this to a board of ace, queen, queen.
This is a horrible fault with this. This is
Yeah.
horrible.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I think some people,
Yeah.
what I found and what I can see, especially playing live, is that some people just have like, they have no mental malleability.
Mm-hmm.
They have rules they follow, and those rules are pretty strict.
Right.
And which is, I think, a really unhealthy in poker.
Right.
This is clearly a continuum.
Right. And here's my prediction, and we're gonna look. I wanna look at this before we go on the next hand. There's something to learn here, which is we're gonna do this as a raise and a re-raise on these eights, and it's this. Against a raise and a re-raise in this board, if you fold any eights, you don't fold your if you have the 8 of hearts, that leads you to calling, but the 8 of diamonds and the 8 of spades call more than when you have the 8 of clubs. So the 8 of hearts calls more than any other 8 combo.
Yeah.
But the 8 of clubs with it calls less. That's my prediction. Let's put that in, Larry, if you would, and then you can have a hand.
Okay, you want to call this a raise call?
Yeah, just raise, re-raise. He's got to be
You want to call this a 3-bet pot?
3-bet pot because he's going to call with eights.
Okay, because you just want to see what's happening with the suits.
Just want to see the suits against where the other person has done the aggressive action.
Okay, sure. Let's look.
And then we'll look small and we'll also look against large.
Okay, right now I'm just gonna get the solver and see if the solver is pop right in a second.
And you do that. I'm going to do that in peak. This is in peak. Come on, peak. We are hijack button. Hijack raises his eights. Button 3-bets, whatever he 3-bet, including ace 4 suited, right? Ace 4 suited. Ace, yeah, he's got a little bit of ace 4 suited and some ace 5 suited. Come back on. There's the raise. Jump back on hijack with his eights. We don't fold eights. Screw that. We're doing it in peak. All right. Here we go. And the flop is 10, 7, 7.
Yeah.
10, 7, 7. There we go. Our eights check. We like that. We don't care. And the bet size was, he's got 2 sizes here.
E50.
He's got a B50 and a pot. Is that what it is?
Yeah, I
No.
think he used B50.
No, the pot is big.
30 and 70.
30 and 70. So he did 50. So let's first look at the small. No, he did 70-ish. So let's first look at.
No, I'm saying that your choices are 30 and 70.
Right, and our guy did about 60. So we're going to first look at the 70. There's the bet. We come back on to the hijack and his eights. 8 of hearts, 8 of hearts has almost no folding, and you can raise as long as you don't have the club. Wow, that raise is aggressive.
But it's still pretty indifferent.
Yeah, you can fold, right? But let's see what the folding range is on this. Go back to the eights. Eights. The folding range, 2.6 with the, so I claim that I was right because it's 2.6 rather than 2.53. It's 0.07 times more. And that's a really important edge to get. But the real thing to look at is the eight of clubs is bad. And in this case, its badness is represented by the fact that these two can even raise. With the heart, you can even check raise, but you really can't do it with the heart club. And then these don't fold much, but they fold the most. And that fits the heuristic, and I feel good about that. All right, next hand is Larry's.
Sure.
Larry, I give you a limp of queen four suited.
Okay, so it's hard to know where we're gonna ISO. I wouldn't ISO any of these hands. I would imagine villain 812 is going to ISO this short stack. Okay, so we get, this is
Oh.
gonna be a really retarded hand. You're not yet, I'm sorry, you're not allowed to use that word. I hope I don't get you banned from YouTube.
I'm so sorry.
Okay, so this is gonna be weird.
Yes.
So queen, I just have queen four do its thing. I don't know what it's gonna do. It's obviously
gonna call.
So this is really a bad hand for me to predict because I'm never here. So but I'm gonna predict what these humans do. I think
Mhm.
human 810 is going to check, and I think human 811 is going to be 75.
I like it. I agree. You don't three bet five deuce to not bluff it.
No, you know where you're getting into. So I would have gone bigger. Fine.
Yeah, but great. Okay. And then on the word retarded, I love the word retarded. I think it's such a good word for someone who has been slowed down because to retard something means that it's, it doesn't imply that they can never get anywhere. It means that it's slower.
Yeah.
And it became this pejorative, right? Where, oh, that's retarded. So people said not to do it. And I think that's one of the sillier things to do in language because whatever the new word is that you substitute will just take on the same meaning. So if retarded is the wrong word for someone who is developmentally disabled, and you choose the word developmentally disabled, in 10 years, people are going to go, that's totally developmentally disabled.
They're going to shorten it to DD. That's so
Yeah,
DD.
it's something like that. But that is my opinion about words, and who cares what I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, when I was a kid, and probably when you were a kid, it was bandied about quite easily.
Yeah. Yeah. The word lame is also out as an ableist word, but something is going to take the place of it. I mean, one of the examples of this was gay. Gay was a word chosen by the homosexual community because they didn't like the word homosexual. And with that was that word saying this is the word we prefer. And then it got its pejorative value because so much of the culture hates people who are gay. So of course it got that over that time.
Yeah.
So whatever the word you choose, and the atheists tried to choose the word bright like fucking idiots. And like that was ever going to catch on. So moving on. And by the way, idiot is also out for the same reason, but it's not as common. For the really young kids, the words stupid and idiot are not acceptable. And not just calling a person stupid, but even an idea. That stupid is now an S word for the sort of the elementary school crowd. I learned that in shows that we had the word stupid in our show. And we did get a couple of mothers, come up and complain to the kids. They were white when they complained. All right, Mike, it's your board. I have ranted, and maybe we'll get ourselves on right-wing Twitter with this. Maybe we'll get all over Rumble.
All right. Limp me a little 7-6.
There you go.
Let's get some multiple limpers in this one. Oh, okay.
Hey, this is gonna be the last hand because it's gonna be me. We like to end on
Last
me,
hand.
and I'm raising it.
Make it 5.5.
Damn right. How about
Okay, go 6. He's gonna call.
And he should call. He shouldn't limp, but if you got a limping range with 7-6 suited in it, you should be calling in position. Although he's only got 51 big blinds. You shouldn't have that. Maybe with 51 big blinds, this is a fold. Let's find out in a whole different way. 50 big blinds. MTT. It's not gonna give you the worst answer in the world. At 40, do you have any open limps? You just don't, so never mind. We're never gonna find out. All right, he calls.
Right, so we ISO'd and we got called by an early position limper. We get this flop.
Can I throw out a crazy idea here?
Check raise?
Yeah,
Not crazy.
Yeah, once you spoke up, Larry, I knew that was gonna be on your mind. I was trying to decide if check raise was the good one or not. Because they have 50 bigs here. I just don't know how that really changes things. I mean, in theory, this would be a flop that you could check a lot. But again, I feel like just exploitatively, I just almost always just c-bet, the limpers after ISOing them. And this hand certainly qualifies to do so. So I'm good with the bet. Yeah.
Hooray.
Okay.
Oh.
So let's think about a check raise here. A check, let's say they bet, let's say B50, which they just kind of always hit the B50 button.
Yep.
And then, so now the pot is about 20. And they have about 40 left. So 2-1, and we have king, queen of clubs.
So our check raise is gonna be jamming.
Yeah, it's kind of an awkward size, so that I don't think I like a check raise line
don't-
here.
yeah. The
Yeah, I don't wanna
pot
jam this
size
hand.
might take option away.
Yeah, I don't think I wanna jam this hand.
The stack size rather. Yeah, okay, that's fair.
Now, what if he raises me? I bet 4.44. And he raises me to something like 14, 12, he raises to 14.44.
Go with your pot odds and call.
Yeah. Call one, try to get there. Then he jams the turn, and if I don't, and I don't call the turn unless I get a king, queen, or a club. And I don't call if I get a jack or a 10. I don't call it. Well, 3 more outs. I don't think so. I don't think the 3 more outs is enough.
All right, I'm gonna send you guys something in chat.
Okay, send us something in chat, and that's gonna do it. We are on for tomorrow. Regular time. Regular stuff. Let's see what do you send us in the chat?
That was the name of an actual laundry that predated back to the original meaning of the word
Right,
in my neighborhood in London. It opened in like the 40s or 50s.
right.
Actually predated everything.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I walked by it, it made me happy.
Yeah.
It made me feel gay.
Yeah. All right.
All right, guys. See you
Happy
tomorrow.
Monday, y'all. Spice.
All right.
Later.
Skate, is there anything you'd like to say to the group?
See you tomorrow. No, may the progress be with you all.
Thank you, Skate.
You're welcome. See you tomorrow.